Welcome you out here to the Matthews Farm for this 11th round of America's Premier Off-Road Racing Championship, the 2020 GNCC Series presented by Specialized. Through the first turn, the hard right-hander. It's side-by-side. Walker Fowler and Bryson Neal. Walker Fowler will get the early lead in this. 7:03 Austin Abney out of Petersburg, Indiana. Action Off-Road Max and Stimmery Motorsports. Nearly an hour into this race, Bryson was able to track down and get around Walker Fowler there. Wow, how quickly he went from 10 seconds to 6 seconds to 10 seconds ahead. You know what I mean? Bryson just man on a mission here today. Like you look at Walker, and Walker I think is proof in the pudding on that one. Your championships are won on your worst days.
I asked them for a comment. They said that's it, we're done. That's the day. That's all she wrote. So Bryson Neal going to try and limp this thing across the finish line.
Has made the pass, and we head to the checker flag, and he does it. The number 4 Cole Richardson takes a second win here at Matthews Farm in 2020. As wow, what a big day for Walker Fowler too.
It's been 2 weeks since we saw the ATV XC1 champion crowned as Walker Fowler sealed the deal with a second-place finish in Pennsylvania. But we're not done yet, as GNCC Racing Nation has made the trek westward. An angry fall sky and a waning autumn. Temperatures in the mid-40s with a brisk northeasterly breeze set the stage for another edition of the coveted Ironman GNCC. And there's still plenty to race for here in this 2020 campaign. He snagged the headlines last week with another championship in the books. And this week, one of the biggest storylines, no Walker Fowler. While he took the title, he didn't even win the race. Cole Richardson, though, sits in second, just 1 point ahead of Neal, and aims to keep it that way. But the sultry veteran, Adam McGill, has been fast the second half of the season and would love to add another Ironman-sized notch in his belt. It's October. Halloween is just around the corner, and nearly 1,200 ATVs are racing for the cure as we support breast cancer awareness. So put on your scariest Halloween mask and don your warmest, pinkest gear as we get ready for the 2020 Yamaha Ironman GNCC. Will Bryson Neal take another overall? Or can McGill and Richardson play spoiler? Find out the answer to all of these questions and more next, live on RacerTV.
Are you ready to go GNCC Racing? Everyone, and welcome to GNCC Live on RacerTV and round number 12 of America's premier off-road racing championship, the 2020 GNCC Series, presented by Specialized and AM8 National Championship. This is the Yamaha Racing Ironman GNCC, celebrating our 25th season here at this amazing complex, the Shaver Family Farm in Crawfordsville, Indiana, America's heartland. There's no doubt about it. The 26th running of this Ironman GNCC, and let me tell you folks, the stage is set. Over the years, we've seen a mix of a little bit of everything as far as weather is concerned here in the late fall season, and of course this year is no different. Rain showers leading into the week and even into Friday night with a little bit of rain, but the biggest thing is the temperature drop. We've seen temperatures dropping from the mid to upper 70s yesterday all the way down into the 40s, a near 20 to 30 degree temperature drop depending on, I guess, how you look at it, but whatever the case may be, it got really, really chilly by comparison to what we saw in a matter of about 20 minutes. This morning, waking up to temperatures in the 30s, temperatures rising into the 40s. We should see them into the mid or lower 50s by the end of the race today. But nonetheless, the damage is done, and these folks are either cold or they figured out how to warm up, and that's one of the big things that we've got to get going here today. There's no doubt about it. Course conditions are superb, probably about as perfect as they have been in many, many years. We'll check in with that course description coming up here in just a few moments. First, let's take a look at how things are going. Walker Fowler wrapping up the championship at the last round, his sixth Grand National Cross Country Championship Series title, and of course he is well on his way to etching a big place in the history books. However, 2 weeks ago at the Mason-Dixon GNCC, things were, well, what seemed to be a normal GNCC. They got off and rolling. Walker Fowler got off to a great start and actually led the first lap, got out front, was the man in control. But as always, and in Mason-Dixon, West Virginia, with the dusty conditions and the craziness that happens there on the Pennsylvania and West Virginia state line, Fowler found himself falling back a little bit there on lap 2, about 10 seconds or so behind, taking over the lead on that second lap was Bryson Neal. Neal obviously had a great first lap as well, running third, gets all the way up to the first place position. Then, when you know it, Bryson Neal having issues and dropping out of the race due to the dusty conditions. However, Bryson's not the only one. A lot of filter changes for a lot of different folks. Walker Fowler, Cole Richardson, Adam McGill, everybody had to make some filter changes out there. Some bikes and a lot of bikes actually blowing up or not making the entire race. So it was kind of interesting how things fell together by the time the checker flag flew. Cole Richardson, who had started out not the best starts. He was about mid-pack there on lap number 1, starting out in 5th. He worked his way up to 4th on lap 2, 2nd on lap 3, and was able to get back around Walker Fowler, who had regained the lead on lap 3, and take the win away for his second win of the 2020 season. That put Walker Fowler back in the number 2 spot, and Adam McGill graced the podium once again with a 3rd place position, and Hunter Hart, who took the win a year ago here at the Ironman GNCC as a rookie, finished in the 4th place position. Momentum really seems to be on his side heading into this one, and with that being said,
Will we see a repeat out of out of Hunter Hart today? Walker Fowler, by the way, I get reports, may not be racing today. Got the championship sealed up. He's obviously having some issues with the injury from over the summer break. We've recognized that in some of his riding, so don't be looking to see Walker Fowler out on the racetrack today. However, we should still have a great race. Cole Richardson and obviously Bryson Neal are going to be two of the riders that are going to be keeping very close eyes on, but we can't take anything away from Adam McGill. We can't take anything away from Jared McClure. McClure is a rider that has won here on more than one occasion himself and is capable of pulling one out of the hat at the Ironman GNCC. So a lot of things to take into consideration, a lot of things to look at. And like we said, the biggest factor here, I think, this weekend may be the changing of the weather. Cooler temperatures, yeah, we can probably get along with that. But when it happens so fast like that, I know a lot of folks are having a little tough time readjusting. It'll be interesting to see how the rest of this day plays out. Course conditions, well, let's take a look at that. Let's head on down to Jared Bolton to find out more.
Thanks, guys. Here we are back once again at Ironman. This is the biggest, best race of the season, and that's for good reason. This is a really, really awesome facility. This course, and you know what I'm going to say, it's got something for everyone, but that is absolutely true at the Ironman. But the biggest thing above all of that is this is the best dirt of the entire season. We did lay this out a little bit different this time. You're running all the same popular Ironman sections, but they're hooked together a lot different than we've done in quite a few years. This tends to be a little bit faster course, but there's actually a few tight areas thrown in as well. And of course, you got the big hill climbs, the creek crossings, all that traditional stuff that makes the Ironman so popular. People love this event. We love coming here. And of course, it's a great track. We can't wait to see how this unfolds. That's this weekend's track description. Back to you guys.
Thanks a lot, Jared. Well, the stage is set, and GNCC racing is about ready to resume here in Crawfordsville, Indiana at the Shaver Family Farm. Who's going to come out on top? Will we see a surprise? Will it be an old schooler climbing his way back up to the top of the podium, or will we have a new face taking checkers here today? Stick around to find out. GNCC Live continues after this.
When you crave the canyon passes, rocky trails, rutted tracks, the podiums and personal records, it becomes part of you. The choice now is, do you become a wanderer or the wanderer? You just need to ride where you belong.
why they can't hear me. Right there. Now can you hear me? So all the folks on RacerTV.com, I think that we got you going on there loud and proud, folks, and glad to have you on board as we welcome you to Crawfordsville, Indiana. As I was saying there just a few moments ago, a huge turnout once again as nearly 500 ATV pilots took to the racetrack here this morning for that 11 o'clock race, and I guess it would have been more along the lines of a 10:30 start this morning because we tried to push everything back about a half hour or so, but with big numbers and a lot of fans out here and big things going on at the Ironman GNCC, well, like always, it's putting us just a few minutes behind, but we're going to get things up and rolling here in just a few moments. We'll have we'll have our riders meeting here in just a few moments. We'll have our starting lineup announced to you here in just a few moments as well, as we've got the stage set for a great day. Sunshine and somewhat partly cloudy skies. We're looking at temperatures right now barely reaching near 50 degrees. Yesterday when we were here, we were 70 degrees plus, and we watched the temperature drop from the 70s down into the 40s, near a 30-degree temperature drop in about 10 minutes. So we've seen a big change in things taking place here at the Ironman. As far as the track and course conditions are concerned, it's really not too bad. We've had some rain leading into the week. Actually, Jared Bolton told me earlier in the week we had 3 inches of rain, and he said you really can't tell it. He said it's starting to dry up out there. He said, honestly, we could use a little more rain. Well, guess what? We got a little bit more rain there last night. Talked to Jared Bolton this morning. He said course conditions are perfect and prime, and probably the best they've been in a long time here at the Ironman GNCC. So we've got a great stage set here for us, and we've got great things going on. I believe we're ready to get underway with our riders meeting, so we're going to go ahead and get the riders meeting up and rolling, folks, and we're going to get this start up and rolling as well. Welcome to the Yamaha Racing Ironman GNCC. Time now for the riders meeting. As you make your way down to the start, just a few things to remind you of. GNCC is a dead engine start. When the blue flag is given, all engines must shut down. This blue flag will also signal 30 seconds before the start of the race. Watch the official starter, Ricky Towery, up near turn 1, and when he puts his left arm straight out, that will signal 10 seconds before the start. At this point, all mechanics must step behind the riders, and the green flag that signals the start of the race will be thrown anywhere between 8 to 10 seconds following the 10-second call. Do not start your engine before the green flag is thrown. This procedure will be followed for each row. Rows will start approximately 1 minute apart unless the official indicates otherwise. ATV riders, at this time, please make sure your tether cord is properly attached to you and your machine. Tether cords must be hooked up. Scoring. Transponder scoring is the official scoring system for GNCC racing. When you arrive at the scoring zone at the finish line, you must stop. The official may wipe your helmet first if it is muddy, but wait until he releases you to go. The finish of the race is at the finish line, not at the scoring zone. Do not race into the scoring zone. The area between the finish line and the scoring zone is a no passing zone. Checkpoints. There will be 3 to possibly 4 checkpoints in addition to the main scoring zone. These points will be marked with caution signs and double-striped placards. You do not have to stop at checkpoints, but you cannot pass or race through the checkpoints. These are no passing zones as well, and you must proceed with caution. Pitting. XC1 and XC2 Pro-Am riders are required to fuel in their designated Pro Pit area, with the exception that if a rider runs completely out of fuel on the race course, he may obtain fuel from any source sufficient only enough to allow him to continue along the race course to his pit area, where he must stop and refuel whether he needs it or not. All other riders may pit anywhere along the track with the exception of the scoring zone. There is no pitting or signaling within the scoring zone. Pit vehicles are not permitted for riders, crews, or fans. The track. Once your row has started, you will follow the arrows into the woods. The course is marked with arrows, ribbons, and tape. The marked course is within 25 feet of the race arrows. The exception to the 25-foot rule is double-striped placards posted on both sides of the trail, fencing, signs, staked areas, hay bales, motocross tracks, or grass track sections. You must stay within the confines of these markings. In addition, you may not cut to the inside of a white pole corner marker. If you see an X, that will signal danger. Please use caution in these areas as they are difficult sections of the track. A W means wrong way. You've either gotten off course or you're heading off course. Turn around and return to the track where you left it. You must stay on the marked course. If you encounter a bottleneck, you may go more than 25 feet off the course in order to get around the bottleneck only. However, you must re-enter the course as soon as possible, and upon approaching the section the next lap, you must take the original course if the track is clear. If you leave the course for any reason, you must re-enter where you left. If you cut, we will not stop you. We will simply take your number down and penalize you. It is no excuse that you were following another rider. You are responsible to follow the course. If you encounter a lapped rider, give him notice you are behind him. Have patience and give the rider time to safely get out of the way. If you are a lapped rider, be courteous and move over when it's safe to do so. If you hear a rider come up fast behind you and yell they are not in your class, then be courteous and let him by. This especially applies for pro riders coming up on lapped riders. Lapped amateur riders must quickly allow pro riders to pass when safe to do so. The course is marked with mile markers to let you know where you are. If you encounter an injured rider, you do not have to sacrifice your race, but note the mile marker and tell the first official you see where the injured rider can be found. We will get help on the way. Once the checkered flag is thrown, our sweep crew will check the course to make sure all riders and machines are retrieved. Pit crews, if you are missing a rider, please notify the finish line scorer. Riders, if you break down, stay with your machine unless you are injured. Our crew cannot tow out a machine without a rider to steer it. And now, let's take a look at our course description.
And to do that, our junior trail bosses, Mr. Jared Bolton and Mr. Ryan Eccles. Ryan?
Thank you, Rodney. Yeah, you guys are in for a treat today. This should be really good stuff. You guys are going to lead the start here. You'll make your way around, then straight into the woods. There's some really good stuff there. It'll bring you back out here in the far right corner to the start here. Joel will be down there pointing you left just like the morning did. You guys will bypass the field right here. The second lap, you guys will come through this field. You do grass track. You'll go into the pro pits, like 4 mile marks over there. And then you'll head back out. You'll have a little piece of woods before you pop back out in a little section of field. Back into the woods to the 5 mile mark, and you'll head down. And then imagine you can almost hear the Ironman hill climb people from here. That's where you'll be headed, right to the Ironman hill. So you go down. And remember, you B riders, you have to go left. You can't go straight up it, and I really don't recommend going straight up for any of the quads. There's a couple good rock walls, really the straight one across, and the one to the right has kind of cut back. So it's up to you if you want to do it. If you haven't looked at it, I recommend you go on to the left. You guys will head up over there. You'll cross over the road. You have a little field section. It'll take you down along the creek. When you jump back in where the morning ran, you work your way out past there to the 6 mile mark. You'll jump out in the field. You have a big corn section there that'll take you back in a little piece of woods to the 7, and you guys will get to Bob's Logs. But it's really tight, guys. The morning kind of struggled at that first right turn, so when you go up into it, make sure you slow down for that right. You'll make your way across there. You'll go back into the woods. That'll take you out to the Monster Mile, the 8 mile mark, and then I'll let Bolton tell you about the rest.
That stuff there at the Monster Mile, the 8 mile mark. Really cool stuff up and down the side of the hill there. You're going to work your way back over, up into a little tight section there. You guys will not see the 9 mile mark. The 9 mile mark's in a bike only section. So there's about, I'm going to call it about 3/4 of a mile over there that you guys are going to skip. You run out and around, basically going straight down to the 10 mile mark. You're going to cross over the little slick bridge. That's the motocross staging area. That bridge is extremely slick. I realize you guys are all on all 4 wheels. You should be fine, but still be really careful on it. That'll bring you back around. You're going to head over to the far side of the property there. A couple of little creek crossings. You also won't see the 11 mile mark. It's a bike section over there, so you're cutting out just a little bit right there. You're basically going in and out of the field a couple of times, field woods, all the way to the 12 mile mark. Come around trackside pitting. You're basically bringing that'll bring you all the way to the 13 mile mark, onto the motocross track, in and out of the finish. When you come out of the finish, you're going to go back onto the motocross track again, drop down across the little creek crossing, head out through the Monster Mile once again. That'll bring you back around to the 1 mile mark. Really cool section out through there. A couple of little dips and hills. Really fun stuff out through there all the way to the 2 mile mark. And then at the 2 mile mark, you're dropping down to the FMF power point. There's several different lines up that hill. The far right line would be your fastest line, but it's also probably the toughest. And then if you need to find a different line, look far left. You'll make it up through there. That'll bring you back around. Good section. Drop down off of that again. Kind of running along the creek there. Then you're going to come to the Twin Hills. Up Twin Hills. You come back around to the 3 mile mark. Tie back in where you started at. And your second time around, you're going to run the big field section back behind you over into the pro pits. There is a pretty big mud hole there at the back of the pro pits. So use your momentum. Hit that hard. That'll bring you back to the 4 mile mark coming out of 4 mile out of the pro pits, and then you're going to come back into the cornfield again to tie in where you started at. So with those couple of little bike sections cut out, you guys are still, you're basically at 12 miles. Still really good, a lot of really great trail out there, and I think you guys are going to enjoy it. So good luck, be safe, have fun, and pay attention to the arrows, everybody.
And one last reminder, safety first. GNCC racing, like all motorsports, can be dangerous. Racers, now that you have had an opportunity to inspect the course, have heard the race procedures and a description of the course, if you feel that either you or your machine is not prepared, then now is the time for you to withdraw for a complete refund of your entry fee, no questions asked. It is your responsibility to operate your machine in a safe manner, maintaining control at all times. Extreme caution is required when approaching areas with high concentrations of fans, crew members, and family members. Do not take unnecessary risks that endanger the safety of fans, crew members, and family members. You will be penalized for reckless racing. Crew members, family members, and race fans. Due to the nature of GNCC racing, there is no fence barrier around the race course. It is your responsibility to keep yourself and your children a safe distance from the race course. Never turn your back on oncoming racers, and remember, stay off the racetrack. For the safety of everyone, unauthorized drones are not allowed at GNCC and will be confiscated. And finally, these are challenging times, and we must all do our part to keep ourselves and each other safe from infectious disease. Please maintain a safe 6-foot distance from people you do not live with, and wear a face mask when you cannot social distance. Wash your hands often and use hand sanitizer. And although we realize this may be an inconvenience, it is necessary for your safety. Thank you for your cooperation.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, to ask a blessing on today's race, Mr. Ricky Towery.
Thank you, Rodney. Hey, let's go to the Lord and have a word of prayer together this afternoon. Heavenly Father, once again, we do thank you for bringing us all together safely so we can have a little fun together, enjoying this sport that we love dearly so much. Lord, we just ask if you'll watch over these riders this afternoon, Lord. Keep them safe. Let them go out there and have a good time together. Be it all the spectators and everyone that's gathered here. Lord, once again, continue to watch over our military men and women in all parts of the world each and every day. Do be with our leaders, that they'll make the right decisions for us. Lord, we just thank you for being in control each and every day. Lord, as we stand out here today in the middle of this cornfield, so many people here and around the world trust and believe in you each and every day. We just ask you'll help us keep our faith in you strong. Take us all home safely when it's over with. In Christ's name we pray. Amen.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, if you would, please remain standing, stand at attention, remove those caps, and cross those hearts as we honor the greatest nation in the world with the playing of our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Well, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. The stage is set, and GNCC is about to resume here in the Midwest, in the heart of America, at the Shaver Family Farm, Montgomery County, Crawfordsville, Indiana, the 25th celebration of the Ironman GNCC as we roll into the 26th running here today. And of course, our opportunity to meet our starting lineup of nearly 200 riders getting set to roll into today's racing action. Rolling out on the starting line first today, he will not be racing, but he just captured his 6th Grand National Cross Country Championship title. He rides the #1 generally, but today, the WFR factory-backed Land Mill XC Yamaha rider bringing to the stage the Yamaha Wolverine RMAX 1000 side-by-side, Walker Fowler. That, ladies and gentlemen, you'll be able to find at your local Yamaha dealers and be able to take one home for your very self as Walker makes his way on over. And of course, folks, I know we got a lot of great things going on there. And with that, Walker, I tell you, we got... All right, we'll talk to Walker about this here in just a little bit, my friends, but the Wolverine RMAX 1000 certainly a sight to behold, no doubt about it. As we turn our attention back to the first turn region, for those that are racing here today, rolling to the line next, he rides aboard the #4, second in points, fresh off a win from Edinburgh, Pennsylvania on an Action Off-Road GBC Moto Wansback Yamaha, the Cole Trade, Cole Richardson. Rolling to the line next, third in points, aboard the #2 from Bidwell, Ohio, on a CST Hauser Racing Wiseco-backed Yamaha, Bryson Neal. To the line next, aboard the #5, he is fourth in points from Casca, Pennsylvania, on a Maxxis Elka Moose Racing Honda, Jared McClure. The 521 from Waverly, West Virginia, on a McGill Mafia Over Tires LSR Moose Racing backed Honda, the Gator, Adam McGill. Up next, sixth in points, riding aboard the #3 from Sunbury, Pennsylvania, a 6-time GNCC champion with 75 overall wins on a Phoenix Racing Honda, Chris Borridge. Seventh in points, aboard the #7. He took the win as a rookie here last year, 1 year ago, out of Newfield, New York, on a Maxxis Ithaca Recreation Sports WPS Fly Racing backed Yamaha, Hunter Hart. The #11 from Akron, Ohio, on a B&R Motorsports, GBC Motorsports Hauser Racing backed Yamaha, JM11, Josh Merritt. Rolling to the line next, he is 9th in points, aboard the #712 from Waxhaw, North Carolina, on a Pierce Performance Fly Racing GBC Tires backed Yamaha, John Glotta Jr. Up next, 10th in points, riding aboard the #10 from Aurora, Ohio, a 26-year veteran of the XC1 Pro class on a GBC Fly Racing HMF factory-backed Yamaha, Johnny G. Johnny Gallagher. Up next, the 124 from Peru, Indiana, Brogan Geyer. from the ATV motocross racing world as well, my friends, and only his second GNCC race. And also from the ATV motocross racing world, aboard the number 741. Out of Myersville, Maryland, on a Wolf Racing 9.2 FTR Graphics Yield Cycle Barn backed Suzuki OWW Wesley Wall. A 701 from Ithaca, New York, on a Custom Axis Goldspeed Hauser Racing Yamaha, Greg Covert. And last, and certainly not least, from Windsor, New York, on a Fly Racing GBC Tires backed Honda, Devin Feehan. And that, ladies and gentlemen, your starting lineup for this, the Yamaha Racing Ironman GNCC. And as we said, celebrating 25 years in the 26th running of this illustrious affair, and Ricky Towery, our start maestro, if you will, already coming out and in signaling these riders that we are in the starting sequence and we are mere moments away from going GNCC racing. One might say we're less than 2 minutes away. The next time we see Ricky Towery make his way out around this bale of hay, he will signal these riders of an all-important signal to give them their heads up of only 1 minute. 1 minute before the green flag flies here in GNCC Racing in Crawfordsville, Indiana. And of course, this is the time, friends, especially here late in the season, folks are getting excited, folks are getting amped up, and they're hoping to be able to turn the heads. Will we see Hunter Hart return to the podium, to the center of the box, as he did here 1 year ago? A fourth place finish the last round. He has certainly got a head full of steam coming into this one. Or will we see a new rookie, John Glada Jr., the 712, making his way onto the podium? We are less than 30 seconds away. Shut them down, guys. Shut them down. Shut them down as we get set to go racing. What a great crowd we have here on a Saturday afternoon. And I got to ask you, Indiana race fans, are you ready to go GNCC racing? Well, I'll tell you, Indiana, you sound pretty good, but I've asked for a little bit of help because I think I'm going to need it. And this guy that I'm asking for a little bit of help from is one of you guys from right here out of Montgomery County, a graduate out of the school system right here, and, of course, a product of the GNCC Racing Nation as well. Welcome your own Mikey Wayne Simpsons. And, Mikey, you know what I always ask them. Maybe they'll tell you a little bit better.
Ironman, take two. Ironman Raceway, Crawfordsville, Indiana. Are you ready to go GNCC racing?
10 seconds. And row number one, the XC1 Pro, will be off and rolling at the Yamaha Racing Ironman GNCC. Rounding the first turn, here we go, looking for our first lead. That's going to be the number 2 of Bryson Neal. Chris Borich back in the number 2 spot as we open things up. Borich really hot on the heels there, hungry as well. XC2 Pro-Am class coming up next. We got Drew Landers, Tanner Walker, Michael McAvoy, Nick Davis, and Charles Dunn, Cole Setzer, Brandon Owens, Dick Royalty, Daniel Peters, also Noah Mickelson, Ben Berger, Lee Smith, Logan Stanfield. Welcome you, buddy. Wyatt Wilkin, Dylan Walraven, Austin Abney, Ronnie Rush, and Lane Boyle ready to roll in 10 seconds. Rounding the first turn we go now. Your leaders, oh, the 714. That, my friends, Ronnie Rush from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania on a bulletproof doors, Healy Energy, Surge Graphics backed ride. As we get to the Vet A30 Plus class, Big Papa P, Jeff Pickens, Brad Whitehead, Dirk this season, Chris Conklin, Gerald Lowry, Travis Brandt, Adam Rosenbaum, also Tommy Kuntz, Curtis Crump, Justin Lewicki, and Michael Lancaster in 10 seconds. Vet A30 Plus rounding the first turn. Oh, and it's the 21, Big Papa P, Jeff Pickens from Shamoka, Pennsylvania, on the GBC Motorsports Waynesburg Yamaha, backed by Fly Racing. Senior A 40-plus class coming up next. Michael Hayes, Shane Worth, Bruce Marshall, Jeremy Gouchard, Jeremy Reeves, Brian Axline. 10 seconds. Matthew Lundwall, Wesley Stone, Mark Batson, Dale Batson, and the Marlboro Man, Todd Muscala. Around the first turn, they're nearly 3 wide. Oh, we got a little bit of carnage, though. It's the 52 at the whole shot stripe. Michael Hayes from Rocky Face, Georgia, on a green cut CDM Transport Cycle Connection back machine. College A, 16 to 21-year-olds, 30 riders coming at you next. Riders like Dalton Keys, Mick Rice, Grayson Eller, Corey Rosengarten. 10 seconds. Tanner Green, Josh Rickley, Jack Kidd, Alan Daniels, Ethan Meyer, Logan Basang, Mason Turner, Colt Davis, Thomas Mitchell, Noah Miner, Corbin Menon, Trey Seifert, Cody Forrester, Nate Harvey, Davis Brinson, Cody Edwards, Chase Allison, Gavin Jenkins, Cole Hall, Zach Wright, Zachary Purdue, Corey Vanderliner, Cole Howard, Colton Buck, Stephen Harrell, Keegan Walker. It's the 123 of Dalton Keys from Holton, Indiana. By the way, I don't think Grayson is here. Must have signed up a little bit early and they didn't get him out of the system. But Junior A 22-plus class coming up next. Jeremy Ladon, Caleb Edwards, Devin Manicotti. Maniaci, I should say. It's Zach Cooper, Alex Elioff, Ryan Thompson, Mitchell Kidd, Dylan Taylor, Chris Ballou, Silas Blow, Jade Millwood. Also riders like Brayden Nichols, Aaron Vickery, Jason Booms, Emily Wise, Ben Feist, Alan Blavos, Justin Eisen, Tyler Miller, Jonathan Crayenbull, Scott Hensley, Anthony Herring. 10 seconds. Cameron Cooper, Brody Livingood, Douglas Crippen, Cy Head, and Henry Moore. Oh, I like the guy in all pink out there. He's got a pink tutu and a pink bodysuit on. But it's the 542 grabbing the early lead in this one. And that may have been Justin Eisen out of Monroe, Indiana. I don't think it was, though. We'll double check that in a little bit. Right now, though, Vet B 30-plus class coming at you next in 10 seconds. Nathan Tickle, Nathan McVeigh, Andrew Carlson, Daryl Short, David Kite, Jeremy Harlow, Riley B. Beyer, Hank Layton, Ben Dunlap, Philip O'Dell, Kendall Cruz, David Kite Sr. Nope, he's not racing. Stephen Burt, Justin Sullivan, Cody Holcomb, Travis Matthews, Dave Ashby, James Bauer, Wesley Smith, and Ray Perry. 552 going to get the early lead out there. That is Wesley Smith from Richmond, Kentucky, on an Honor Flight Network Maxxis and U.S. Army back machine at the college at EKU in Richmond, by the way. Here we go, ready to roll Senior B 40-plus in 10 seconds. Greg Phillips, Steve Combs, Scott Wilhelm, Calvin Beasley, Bill Berger, Daniel Dakota, Jason Flaviano, Adam Christie, Richie McCauley, Bobby McCauley, Paul Hopkins, Nick Lambruno, and Robert Stevens. 414, Jason Flaviano from Girard, Ohio, on a B&R GBC Fly Racing back machine. There for your Senior B 40-plus class. Coming up next, College B, 16 to 21-year-old Ben Wilson, Bryce Husband, Cole Darnley, Lucas Kapler. 10 seconds. Braylon Secura, Dylan Hawes, Caden Klonks, Evan Hartzell, Curtis Ballsback, Jacob Fleming, Kyle Summerfield, Riley Salick, Trey Redmond, Dominic Stevens, Ramey Wilkins, Luke Wilson, Ian Burns, Jaron Cochran, Josh Turner, Jacob Johnson, Hunter Gotze, Alex Nelson, Chance Hickey, Nolan Warren, Ben Neville, and Caden Ryan. It is, I believe, the 413, Dominic Stevens from Warren City, Pennsylvania, on a Shoops Off-Road EBC Brakes DSR Designs backed ride. Up next, Junior B 22-plus class coming at you. 21 riders, including Travis Mathias, Nick May. 10 seconds. Luke Lohan, Timothy Ryan Mazzella, Grant Rutan, Jacob Breedlove, Hunter Johnson, Eric Birch, Justin Cotter, Corey Pancake, Jacob Allball, William Wallace, Eric Kroger, Sean Newhouse, Kyle Malone, Zachary DeNoble, Travis Rabiel, Stephen Martin, Brent Barna, Donald Griffith, and Jake Dial. Jake Dial. 188. Nick May from Monongahela, Pennsylvania on a BNR Motorsports GBC back ride, grabbing the early lead on that one. And there you go, folks, nearly 200 strong, rolling into the rolling hills of beautiful southern Indiana, my friends, and that kicks it off, the 26th running of the Yamaha Racing Ironman GNCC. Big question is, with Walker Fowler out, Bryson Neal up front, where did Cole Richardson get started? And how about Hunter Hart? Is he back out here to try and take another win today? We'll stick around to find out how it all pans out. GNCC Live continues on RacerTV right after this.
When you crave the canyon passes, rocky trails, rutted tracks, the podiums and personal records, it becomes part of you. The choice now is, do you become a wanderer or the wanderer? You just need to ride where you belong.
Born of family values and a homegrown work ethic, Cometic Gaskets seals your machine so you can focus on the finish line. Cometic Gaskets are the competitive standard for racers who demand the very best. Cometic Gaskets are constructed from superior materials designed to perform in the most demanding environment, whether it's championships on the line or a day in the dirt with friends. Professionals and enthusiasts depend on Cometic. Cometic Gaskets, sealing championships since 1989.
It's hard to put our adventures on hold, but now is the perfect time to prepare for their return. AMSOIL has your back with fast, free shipping, and ordering has never been easier. Just look up your vehicle, select your product, add an oil change to your cart, and check out. Spend $50 on AMSOIL products and shipping is on us. Order now at AMSOIL.com.
Even when you're the best, you never stop striving to be better. With over 40 years of experience in motorcycle sales and service, we know racing. Our inventory of Yamaha motorcycles, sport bikes, dirt bikes, ATVs, and side-by-sides is extensive and constantly changing. Stop by LoJack Cycle Sales today in Tarentum, Pennsylvania, and visit our online inventory at www.lojacks.com. Yamaha YZs. It's why we ride.
Hi, my name is Andrea Lieb, the director of On Track School. How would you like to go to a school where we take into consideration how students learn best? Well, we do that because we find if we can build the curriculum around the things you are interested in, you're going to do a better job. The mission at On Track School is that educational success is possible while chasing your dreams. Not only will our staff help students to achieve success, they will cheer you on to the finish line. we encourage you to check out On Track School at ontrackschool.com, where we can help you chase your dreams and still get a quality education.
We are American motorcyclists. We are members of the American Motorcyclist Association. Racers, fans, and crew. We come together for this sport we love, to race together, to grow together. We start young and not so young. We race motorcycles and ATVs. We become friends, we become family. We compete for weekend bragging rights and national championships. We make memories on the toughest off-road courses in the country and on the best motocross tracks in the world. Some of us aspire to the speed and poise of road racing or the fierce competitiveness of American flat track. And we honor our greatest champions in the AMA Motorcycle Hall of Fame. Through it all, we cheer. We win and we lose. We are racing. We are the AMA. Race with us. Be part of the greatest sport in the world. Be an American motorcyclist. Join us today at www.amajoin.com/join-now.
Grand National Cross Country is America's premier off-road motorcycle racing series. Riders compete on extended cross-country courses of 8 to 12 miles per lap and races lasting up to 3 hours. Up the mountains and through the trees, you'll find the best riders in GNCC. On MAV TV, Motorsports Network.
Live coverage of the 2020 GNCC series on RacerTV.com is brought to you by MMI. Get there faster, smarter. Specialized turbo e-bikes. It's you, only faster. And by RockyMountainATVMC.com. Get ready.
And welcome back to GNCC Live. I'm Mikey Wings. You've already heard from my colleague, Mr. Rodney Tomlin, down there on the starting line with those iconic 10-second calls. I know personally, I am thrilled to have Rodney Tomlin back. I got to do those last round. It was pretty cool. I was stoked to do it, but man, there's nothing quite like Rodney Tomlin in there. So welcome to the Yamaha Racing Ironman GNCC, our race for the cure, if you will. Everybody's decked out in pink. Hard to keep track of who's who out there on the track unless you know the riding style. Boy, normally our season finale here at Ironman Raceway, this year not the case. We've got one more round in a couple of weeks. But I believe to get things started, we're at the Monster Mile right now. I think we're going to take a look at those start replays for the XC1 and the XC2. So here you go. The Specialized XC1 start replay coming at you strong. Again, no Walker Fowler today. He's been the whole shot king, so this one's up for grabs. Who wants it? Here at Ironman Raceway. Getting gnarly in the first turn in the cornfields of Indiana right there. And Bryson Neal, Chris Borich right behind him in the number 2 spot. Fantastic start for Bryson Neal right there. And, boy, he's a guy. He had a win earlier this year by almost 2 minutes. Can we see some more of that here today? And now we look at the Specialized XC2 start replay. Ricky Towery waving the flag. Got the pink Under Armour on. I like that. How about that? Good stuff. XC2 off and rolling. That is a stacked class, to say the least, there. In the 714, Ronnie Rush, little Ronnie Rush out there doing big man work. Austin Abney looks like he was back in the number 3 spot off the line. Of course, a championship on the line for him here today, and the battle between him and Drew Landers continues today. Absolute dogfight, like a classic boxing match, that one. So hopefully it doesn't turn into a real one. We don't think it will. But we're off and rolling here at the Ironman GNCC. And to give you guys an idea of what to expect out of today's racing action, let's take a look at our Yamaha Racing track map. So Ironman GNCC gives you a little bit of everything you want out there. Taking a look there roughly about a 12-mile course for these guys. I believe your yellow there is going to be the bike-only section. But, yeah, this race gives these guys everything they want. There's some open field sections, so some opportunity for some speed. Obviously, woods, Ironman Hill, all that good stuff comes into play out here. So, yeah, it's going to be a gnarly one, and we're definitely looking forward to seeing who can come out on top here at Ironman. And there you go. There you go. Now we're watching live. This is not a replay for you guys. So again, Walker Fowler not racing today. Obviously, he's wrapped up the 2020 championship, if you didn't know that already, but suffered an injury, and he kind of nursing that, and he and Yamaha felt, look, you got the championship wrapped up. Let's not risk anything. Let's not hurt anything worse. So he is sitting out today. He is at the track today, and I believe he's going to step into the booth with us here in a little while. He said, how long do you want me in there? I was like, listen, dude, you stay in here as long as you want. We would love to have the insight of Walker Fowler. It's not an opportunity we've had, I don't think, ever. So to get Walker in here in a little bit and get his perspective on what he sees out there, maybe we can pick his brain a little bit and learn something about what it takes to have 6 championships. I mean, incredible. So it's up for grabs today. Of course, you go back one season, and it was Hunter Hart grabbing the win. If you remember last year, and it was an absolute mutter last season. Ended up winning that one. He thought he'd gotten second, and then we finally told him, no, buddy, you ended up first. So Hunter Hart, pretty decent start for him today. We'll see if he can have some more of that magic happen for him here today. So, again, looking at our monster mile right there, and I believe that is B. Neal. So Bryson Neal ripping early, man. Don't see anybody behind him right now. So the number 2 off to a fantastic start. Look at that lead right now for Bryson Neal. Are you kidding me? So Bryson Neal setting the bar high this morning. So it's going to be a barn burner. This one's up for grabs. More of our XC1 guys. There's Hunter Hart on screen right there, I believe back in about the number 4 spot. Hunter Hart actually did some local radio work with us this week, so he's pretty excited about it. One lap in, of course, that first lap, I believe, will be a little shorter than what we'll see throughout the rest of the day. But Bryson Neal, your leader out in front. Jared McClure in the number 2 spot. Cole Richardson, as you guys saw on screen there a second ago. Cole Richardson in the number 2 position. Hunter Hart 4th, and John Glotta Jr. rounding out that top 5 in the overall in XC1. Josh Merritt 6th. Austin Abney in the number 7 spot. Abney 1st in the XC2. Wyatt Wilkin, how about the start for Wyatt Wilkin, the 621 machine in there in the number 8 position with WW Wesley Wolf in 9th. Devin Feehan rounding out the top 10 there, and joined in the booth now with Rodney Tomlin. And are you number 1? I think should be
I am
there.
number 1.
You're number 1, numero uno. I'm gonna flip-flop those.
Wait, it looked, I thought it was number 3 because I turned up number 3 and I got louder headphones, so I don't know what's going on. Hey, a little bit of a report there for you. You don't see. Yeah, they aren't. Anyway, it doesn't matter, Adam. Anyway, on my way in, I saw that Adam McGill, the 521. Lost my train of thought there. Sorry about that. But Adam McGill was being towed in by trail boss Jeff Russell whenever we were.
Whoa.
Yeah. Looked like the front left tire maybe pitched all the way to the left for the most part. So maybe a broken tie rod or steering or something, something in the front wheels there, taking Adam McGill. I said, Adam, two-fisting it, by the way, at that particular point already. I said, come on over to the booth. He looked at me, he smiled with 2 hands full, and I said, maybe not.
Maybe not.
No, tough break for him. I mean, he was smiling, but you know what was funny? The reaction to the fans that he went driving by, because I followed them off the start. They came through the start, and I followed them back over this way, and as they were coming through, the reaction of the fans, the comments that they were making to Adam as he came through, and just a look of, oh, no, I can't believe you're out of it. You can tell that Adam is certainly a fan favorite around the GNCCs, because it wasn't just 1 or 2 guys that were, I mean, it was like everybody that he went by, their mouths were dropped open and shaking their head, arms out like, man, what went on? What happened? And a little disappointment for some race fans, but at the same time, Adam gets to get warmed up early for tonight's Monster Energy concert.
Exactly. He actually told us last night, Adam came out and helped us, as well as WXC pro rider Kate Osborne and Stu Baylor. They helped judge the mullet contest we had last night. And I asked him, I said, Adam, the last couple of years when the Davison brothers play out here, Adam always goes up on stage. He's pretty tight with, they're West Virginia boys. Right. So he's pretty tight with them. So I asked him if he'd be doing the same thing tonight. And he's like, well, I think we're loading up and heading out. I was like, no, you're not. There's no way. So now maybe he, gets the party started a little early. Maybe he'll stick around for tonight.
He'll be in the mood for it. He'll say, the heck with it. A little on the chilly side, just if you know anything about the area, and probably a good part of the West and Midwest and even the eastern United States, seeing a major cold front going through in the overnight hours. Yesterday, we went from a temperature in the upper 60s near 70. I think it was 68, and it dropped down to 47 degrees at one point there, and just went lower. But that was in 20 minutes that it dropped from 68 to 47 degrees. So 20 degrees, we saw it drop even further. There's Bryson Neal out at the FMF PowerPoint here, mile marker number 2. And these, is this the Twin Hills, guys? No, maybe. I know we... Okay, so neither Ironman Hill nor the Twin Hills. This is another monster hill. This is the FMF hill here at Ironman Raceway. And this is one thing that you don't think about whenever you think about Indiana. You think Indiana, you think flat ground, you think corn, you think soybeans, you think cattle, you think hay fields. You don't think anything about hills. You don't think anything about these muddy sections and things like that, and the type of terrain that is thrown at these riders out here. But man, when you come race an Ironman GNCC, you get a full concept of what Indiana racing is all about, that's for sure. We're joined in booth now by 6-time GNCC champion and also now pilot of the new Wolverine RMAX 1000, Walker Fowler. Walker, welcome to the broadcast. I hate not seeing you out on the track, but as Mikey Waynes was explaining a few moments ago, to get your insight on this ought to be fairly interesting because, number one, from a racer standpoint, and then look at it from a fan standpoint of what it's like to watch this race today.
Oh, absolutely. And I know that Bryson Neal got off to a fantastic start, and that was, uncommon at the beginning of the year. And I know he's been chomping at my heels all year, and this made it 2 in a row for him, two hole shots. So fantastic job for that number 2 fight is up for grabs. Cole Richardson, they're on screen now, and Bryson Neal are tied coming into this event. 2 races left for that number 2 plate battle. Obviously, we've already seen Adam McGill exit this race. I actually passed him in the pits. It's a broken spindle. He said he got in a collision with Cole, and by the looks of it, he actually had a bush light under his seat ready to
2 of them.
He said some fans were already there to help him. So, that's a bummer to see Adam McGill out, but prime conditions, guys. This is perfect.
Yeah. Now, just out of curiosity, I know you're not racing for a couple of different reasons. Who we got going up the hill there? Was that Wesley Wolf, maybe? I don't know who that was going through there. But looking at these course conditions here today, man, these are probably the best ones we've seen. It's not too dry. It's not too wet. I mean, maybe some of the low-lying areas might have some mud, but this looks like closer to one of the more perfect Ironman tracks that we've had in a while.
Absolutely. This place is just so notorious. It is a little chilly today.
A little chilly, wee bit.
Yeah, it is cold. And we're not in the sun. But other than there's a little bit more water in the creeks due to Bryson Neal making his way over just in our view. He's headed towards pro pits, so he is leading. I don't have a timer on him.
He's the last time. Well, when he checked in, he had an 18-second lead when he went through in the short lap one. I guess it's got to be more than that.
Yeah, there he is now. Cole Richardson will be coming through on camera as your number 2 ride.
And that should be a little bit of a gap opening up, as I said, 18 seconds. And that's a pretty phenomenal gap. That's something that sometimes, you guys will get a 20, 30-second gap sometimes, but those gaps don't seem to maintain as often as you would like. Now, there's been a couple of instances where it's happened, Walker, but man, there must be a lot of crazy things go on out there on the course for you guys, because you guys will have like you in particular will have a big lead, and then the next thing you know, the guys will be catching up to you, or vice versa. You'll be a mile behind, and then you're right behind the guys the next time we see you.
Yeah, Hunter Hart just came through in that number 3 spot. think Chris Borich was 4th. I'm not sure, but we must have lost McClure, maybe. I wonder where he went. Maybe he was that number 4 ride that I thought maybe was Borich, because Borich is right there. Yep, so it looks like Hunter Hart to that number 3, McClure to that number 4. But yeah, it's GNCC Racing, Rodney. Anything can happen, especially Ironman. There's not too many courses that have creek crossings. There's not too many places that have this many fans to step out in front of you on accident. There aren't that many places that have a motocross track or hill climbs. Obviously, things lap riders. There's a lot of conditions. The last race, the dust. Our air filters were our motors were ruined. And I was out front most of the day. So there's a lot of factors to GNCC Racing. But right now Bryson Neal's riding really, really well. I mean, he's got something to prove, and he's going out there, and he's either going to win it or he's going to break the bike in half trying to win.
Well, under normal circumstances, I know you don't want Bryson to win. And watching this race today, as you become a fan, how are you thinking coming into this one? Do you have any favorites that you would like to see do a little better than others or anything like that? And I'm not trying to put you on the spot, but I mean, from a fan standpoint, I mean, is there anybody that you'd like to really maybe see click it? Maybe somebody that hasn't done it yet?
If I was putting money on the race, which I may or may not be. No, I'm just kidding. No. Betting is illegal. Bryson Neal. Obviously lining up against him, that would be the guy that I would pick to win. Barring an issue, his fitness right now, his speed right now, he's the guy that's definitely going to try to go out there and. He's like I said, he's either going to win or there's something going to happen trying. It's not like he's going to go, you know what, today is second place is all I got. That's where I'm going to end up. No, Bryson Neal is winning or else. And that's the amazing thing, and we've seen that transition in Bryson over the last couple of years. He's become hungry. He's put a lot of challenges on you, and he's made your journey, not only him but a few other riders as well, made your journey to get these championships a little tougher than what they have been. I mean, it seemed to be easy in the beginning, but now it gets tougher and tougher as your tenure wears on, it seems like. Yeah, absolutely. Here we go. I believe this is coming up to Ironman area. That is deep right there. You're right.
Pretty deep.
Yeah.
Yep, that's Ironman Hill.
Up and at him.
Right up it. I actually didn't get a chance to go look at it, but I would say that line was not common last year, so I'm impressed he was able. Cole Richardson definitely has made up the time.
That's deep through there.
Cole Richardson is definitely within 10 seconds, and the line that he's using on that hill is definitely the line that I would have been taking. That one that Bryson took has a real sheer edge by a 10-foot wall. And talking with Hunter Hart, who is now coming on screen, your number 3 ride.
Wow. So Hunter moved up into the number 3 spot. He got some company behind him.
And that is Jared McClure in the number 4 spot.
Yeah, there's the sneaky snake. I wonder what happened to him. He's another rider that's more than capable of winning right here at Ironman GNCC.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, Rodney.
So, you're talking about this Ironman hill, that right side hill right there, looking at that. And I think there's another line that may go over to the farther right, or there used to be anyway. Yeah. But when you talk about gambling, that left line obviously a little bit easier, and there wasn't really too far out of the main line. Are the risks worth the rewards whenever you go up that hill? If you're in a battling situation, would the risk be worth the reward to try to take the tougher hill on that one?
It just depends, Rodney. If you're going to get stuck, that's a tough one. If you're going to, for sure, make it, which obviously these guys all appear to have chosen the same hill. See how he got a little stuck at the top?
Oh, yeah.
Slowed down. He didn't get stuck. He just slowed down. I think that's from that left line. If two racers are battling, the left is safer, and especially if you don't have that option of possibly slowing down, you'd have to clean that right line for it to be fast. So I'll be curious if that plays out.
And you have to think, and we watch it happen, those lines will chew out really fast, and they'll get even more challenging, I think, than what they are in the beginning of the race.
Absolutely. And Devin Feehan on screen now. We did miss John Galata actually moved up to the number 5 spot. Chris Borch to that number 6 spot. Austin Abney right there on screen is your top XC2. I'm not sure. Wyatt Wilkin, I'm going to say. And Drew Landers, number 3 spot in the XC2.
You know, talking with Drew, I know Drew and Abney are in a heated championship battle right now. It looks like Abney might have the advantage as far as the points are going. It'll take Drew winning the next couple of races and maybe a bad race or so for Austin Abney for Drew to take the championship away. But, you know, I was talking with Drew, and you might have a little bit more details and info on this, but he went and had some blood tests done, and you know how we saw him at the beginning of the year? He was like first, second. I was the guy. Oh, yeah. And then we started seeing him drop from first or second down to third, fourth, and fifth place positions. Well, he went and got some blood work done in the last few weeks, and it came back, and he's got Epstein-Barr, they're saying. It's that condition that wears you out real fast, so they've got to figure out a way to try and rectify that a little bit. And with it being at the end of the season, they're going to try to finish out the season, but really put their head down on recovering in the offseason and recharging at the same time for the 2021 season. Neal out front, Richardson in the number 2 spot, Hunter Hart in the number 3 spot with Chris Borich in 4th, and actually that is McClure now back into the number 5 spot as we see things changing just a little bit from the conclusion of lap number 1. We had a short lap number 1. It was only about 17 minutes for Bryson Neal, who had an 18-second lead over the rest of the field. And now what we're looking at is, of course, things tightening up back there between Neal and his second place in the points competitor of the Coltrane, Cole Richardson. So this ought to get pretty exciting up there. And Walker, here's a good one. I mean, there's 2 guys, and they're 2 of your biggest threats. I mean, not that there aren't more threats, but they're 2 of your biggest threats on race day. What's it like to watch these guys go at it like that? And tell me the difference in these 2 riders.
I mean, I'm glad I'm not in that battle right now.
I mean, seriously, even at your level.
So the difference, especially right now, is if I was racing, they basically know that, like, I have nothing more to gain. So, like, I'm probably not pressing the issue. If I can get out and get away, great. But these guys are out for blood right now. Cole Richardson, I talked to him on the start a little bit. He's hungry. He really wants that number 2 plate. Every year there's that uncertainty if he thinks he can put a program together or not. And right now he's thinking that he is coming back for another year. You know, 2 or 3 years ago, if you'd asked him, I know it was a little sketchy. Yeah. But he really wants that number 2. I know he definitely wants to click off some wins. That way he can show, you know, his tire program or you know, his team, the Teely Energy, and I believe is even Kenda. You know, he wants to go to those guys and say, hey, you know, I got 1 win the last 2 seasons. I got 3 or 4 wins this year. Right. I'm improving. I can do this. Please give me the support to try another year. I know I can run up there. So,
and the thing about it, you got to point out about Cole too, and I don't think they look at the big picture. Is he had the illness there a few years ago. He's had some injuries and things like that coupled along with that. When you look at the big picture, he's really a remarkable rider and had some remarkable results. So, I mean, sponsors should look at the big picture and say, that's a no-brainer, man. Sure, we're going to sponsor him.
Oh, yeah. And obviously, he's still young, too. I think he was one of those guys that I think kind of got some speed and excelled real early in his career. And, you know, we've been hearing his name for 6 or 7 seasons.
Right.
And he's 23.
Right.
Yeah. He's a baby.
You're like, oh, man, you know, maybe like he was just getting started when these injuries or these illnesses were happening. So,
and the funny thing about it is, for most people, he hasn't even reached the peak age of the solid racers. I mean, most of you guys haven't really been starting to mature till you're about 23. 23 to 25 is when you really start to see, I think, the consistency of winning opportunities start to come into play there.
Yep, definitely can't disagree with that by any means.
And, you know, you would think, and I don't know why, but you would think that the young blood, I mean, you may be a little different than the rest of the curve when you came into the XC1 Pro class. Obviously, you were a challenger right off the bat. What's different about you and these other riders that are coming up through the ranks right now? I mean, was it the timing? Was it that you set the bar so high that everybody's struggling to get as high as what you're getting at this point? I mean, what's the difference, say, now than 6-7 years ago when you started in the pro class?
I think there was just maybe some guys were overshadowing some of the other results, you know, other riders. I think Austin Abney's obviously been a fast kid the last several years, and whether it was you know, financially unable to do a full season, or maybe injury, or maybe just, you know, racing other series and trying to. All right, you know, there's factors you don't know. You know, there were guys that were really good that I probably ended their career a little early. That's unfortunate, but that's racing.
Yeah, and I'm sure you did pop the bubble on a lot of guys, man. I mean, that had to be a hard pill to swallow for some of the guys, especially Chris Borch. I mean, he's basically the king of the XC1 Pro class, and then here comes Walker Fowler, and man, it's been nothing but craziness ever since. But Walker, you've certainly been a great champion. There's no doubt about it. Watching here from the 6-mile marker, our leaders are farther ahead. We'll catch up with them coming up in just a few moments. It's Bryson Neal leading Cole Richardson, Hunter Hart, Chris Borch, and Jared McClure rounding out the top 5. GNCC Live continues from Croppersville, Indiana, and the 26th running of the Yamaha Racing Ironman GNCC.
When you crave the canyon passes, rocky trails, rutted tracks, the podiums and personal records, it becomes part of you. The choice now is, do you become a wanderer or the wanderer? You just need to ride where you belong.
Born of family values and a homegrown work ethic, Cometic Gaskets seals your machine so you can focus on the finish line. Cometic Gaskets are the competitive standard for racers who demand the very best. Cometic Gaskets are constructed from superior materials designed to perform in the most demanding environment. Whether it's championships on the line or a day in the dirt with friends, professionals and enthusiasts depend on Cometic. Cometic Gaskets, sealing championships since 1989.
Hey, I'm Corey McDonald with the Ampro Yamaha team, and I'm Lane Michael's mechanic. Well, I raced for 17 years. I won a couple local pro championships. I was a top amateur in the GNCCs. Unfortunately, in 2011, I had a crash at the Big Buck GNCC and cracked a vertebrae, actually shattered my vertebrae, and that put me out. I ended up getting hooked in with Randy Hawkins. I lived close to him. I knew him my whole life, and it went from there. My dad, he was always mechanically inclined. He taught me at a young age, and I had really good teachers growing up inside the race shop, and I just took that and perfected it, and here I am 10 years later. Well, being a mechanic and then starting off as a racer, you just kind of know how the bike works in the conditions that they're in. There's a lot of different things, different setups, you know, a lot of different terrains in the GNCC series. So as a racer, I can take that from my past and I can see what we're going to have to work on or you know, go forward with a little bit of modification just to prep for those races. And that helps out a lot, and just knowing the intensity of the sport and how it is. You know, I've done both, and I always, you know, tell my riders, you guys think it's stressful being a racer. It's definitely, it is a little bit stressful, but being a mechanic, it's unbelievable. You know, being on both sides, as a racer, your job is to take off and go as fast as you can, you know, make good line selections and and go for the win. Being a mechanic, you know, there's a lot more pressure. You know, your bike's set up, make sure your bike is tuned right. Everything has to be right in check. You have fuel mileage, you have lap times, you got to put all that in together, and it definitely gets a whole lot more stressful as a mechanic.
Welcome back to Ironman Raceway, Crawfordsville, Indiana, the Shaver family farm. And look at that, my friends. The Yamaha Banshee hasn't been made since 2007, Walker Fowler. One of your favorite machines, if I'm not mistaken, huh?
He's drooling. Like, that is a clean Banshee. I love it. Wish it had the 2-in-1 pipe, but it doesn't. But that's okay. But I believe it had Duncan Fatboy exhaust on it that I saw. Could be wrong.
A twin 350 motor on it, and used what, 1986 to 2007 you said they made those?
I think it's 87, 06, and you could get them in I believe Australia till 08 or something.
Wow. So blast from the past, historic,
clean.
A very clean machines.
Definitely
We pick the action back up. I believe that is Bryson Neal making his way around the moto track, still leading here in the XC1 Pro Class and the overall at this pink race, the Ironman GNCC, and taking that Yamaha around the finish line chicanes. He looks like he has once again established a little bit of dominance over the rest of the field. Now, in the wooded sections and some of those sections, remember how tight it was and how close the number 4 of Cole Richardson was beginning to reel in. Well, look now. Bryson Neal is, again, by himself. So there's something about this racetrack that lends itself maybe a little more in his favor than what it does that second place ride of Cole Richardson, who has now lost several seconds, it seems like, rolling into this second lap conclusion. Neal in, he turned a 25:13. Wow. Cole Richardson, a 25:12, was actually a little bit faster, but 17.9 seconds. Now think about this. Remember how close he was at Ironman Hill? Had he not lost that time, you have to think that there would have been maybe another 10 seconds off that lap time.
Yeah, absolutely, Rodney. And I'll be curious to see if Richardson doesn't find that same line, or maybe maybe there's just a part of the track that that rider is a little bit faster and can come back up to Neal and make this a two-man battle coming in to this is the start of their third lap. They should be pitting this lap, I believe. The Richardson pits are really good. Neal's pits are pretty solid, so I don't believe you're going to see much change in the pits. But they do still have to go through the creek, I believe, twice, and they have the Twin Hills before pits, so a lot can happen.
Hunter Hart checking in the number 3 spot. And speaking of a lot to happen, you mentioned creek crossings, and we talked about the deeper water than normal than what we're used to. We saw it. We recognized it at Ironman Hill coming out of that creek section there just a few moments ago. How big of an impact is that in your racing with the deeper waters out there? Does that make you guys have to think a little differently whenever you approach those crossings?
I saw a lot of riders with the larger handguard setup, so that is a setup thing that we all take into account. And then also like I like to tape my boots, trying to keep the mud and the water out. And then a lot of riders, just trying to keep their goggles clean and the gloves clean early in the race. Towards the end of the race, Rodney, we hit the water pretty hard.
Now, and I would have to think with conditions, temperatures being a little cooler, you probably don't want to get as wet as early, again, because that's still, no matter how much work you're doing out there, being wet in these temperatures, you're going to get cold, right?
Absolutely. Especially some of these thinner guys. That's where it pays to be a little husky, a little blubber there. But I know that we just had Glotta come on screen. He should be in that, numbers 5-6 position?
He checks in the number 5 position now. He's behind here, McClure. This is good news for him. I mentioned it leading into this race. Will a rookie be able to come back out on top? And we've seen and recognized, again, some really good runs by the 712 machine, the rookie. He's had some glimpses of greatness earlier in the season, then he kind of faded out of the limelight for a few races, but he's really been inching his way back up into consistently right around that top 5 finish.
Yeah, absolutely. He's definitely been getting a lot faster. I think his starts have been his biggest issue. I believe on screen right here is Austin Abney and Wyatt Wilkin.
Yeah.
Really going at it.
All right, we'll see.
Let's see if that is who that is. I know that's Austin Abney. Where's that off-green gear?
Well, they check in with us. That is Austin Abney and Brandon Owens as they come through. Owens 0.721, so 3/4 of a second behind is what they're saying. So literally nose to tail whenever they come through the finish line right there. And of course that battle you know, as hard as they're battling there, you know it's only going to keep on intensifying as this lap wears on. Now, have you walked the track much? What have they got to look forward to in the first couple of miles after that finish line?
First couple miles, you are on the motocross track, and then probably within 6 or 7/10 of a mile, you do cross a creek for the first time. The creek isn't necessarily deep, but the water that got drug out onto the bank afterwards, the ruts are deep, and it's this real sludgy, sandy mud. It's some nasty stuff. You follow the creek, you go up and down a couple hills, you run across the backside, kind of the inner backside of the property, and then you drop down another hill, another creek, and then the 2-mile marker, that is where the Twin Hills are. For the afternoon race, typically that's not a super challenging section, unless it's really muddy. I think today's conditions are perfect, so they shouldn't have a problem there. They run the perimeter of this main field out here that we started in, and then that's when we'll see them come into the
pro pits.
They do half the field, they do pro pits, they do the other half of the field. So that's when we get some great drone footage and kind of get to see the riders, if they're close enough, dice it in and out on a drone camera.
So it looks like we're in store for some pretty good action shots coming up here pretty soon as we roll in, well, out of lap number 2 into lap number 3. Bryson Neal, Cole Richardson, Hunter Hart, Jared McClure, John Galata are your top 5. Josh Merritt running in the number 6 spot. Chris Borich checks in the number 7 spot. Wesley Wolf is 8th aboard the 741. 9th overall and leading the XC2 Pro-Am class, the 703 of Indiana's own Austin Abney, and looking like he's going to be the Pro-Am champion the way things are going. Right behind him, the 246 of Brandon Owens out of Walker, West Virginia. Walker, I just want to point out, I've said this on several occasions. You probably listened and watched back at some of the replays of the RacerTV broadcast, but I've mentioned on several occasions I got a lot of folks talking to me, especially in this offseason, about Brandon Owens. They say this is the guy that might be the one that actually knocks Walker Fowler off his podium, or you know, off the top spot. I know there's a lot of guys that are in line to do that. He's back there. Is this one guy you've heard a lot about? Have you heard the same things that I've been hearing about this guy? Because when he does put it together, man, he's got it together.
He definitely has a lot of speed. He's young. That's a lot. You know, that takes a long time. The riding strategy and just overall bike wisdom, that takes a lot of years. So he's definitely got speed right now. I know Johnny Gallagher talks a lot about him. So I am looking forward to it. I have you know, a good 4 to 10 seasons. We'll see. But I got 4 for sure, and hopefully in 4 years he you know, jumps up into that pro class, and we kind of get to start to dice it out with him. One thing I do want to point out, Bryson Neal did come by. It seemed like that 18-20 second range, still on Cole Richardson, that number 2 ride, and we are waiting on a number 3 ride. It seems like they've really stretched it out.
Yeah, there was 40 seconds that separated Richardson and Hart when they came through the finish line there just a few moments ago, and I think we're right still in that time frame. There is the 3-mile marker now as we pick the action back up. Bryson Neal making his way through. As you see the crowd, they don't even hardly get a good chance to look at him. He goes by so fast, man.
Slow down, Bryson.
Let me ask you this. You guys, I mean, the level at what you guys are racing at, I mean, Walker, like I said, you set the bar for these guys, man, and you're creating these animals out here. Do you ever watch these guys, if they're in front of you or even behind you, and you see them or hear them riding up behind you, ever think, oh my gosh, these guys are flying?
Oh, absolutely, Rodney, and that's exactly why I'm not racing. The speed that we're going through the trees right now, the last race, I stuck it out, I gutted it out, but my brain was processing the trees slower than I was seeing them. So, like, I would go through them, and then I would see the tree, and that's not good. When you're doing, no joke, 30 miles an hour through trees. I know that doesn't sound like a lot if you drive your car down the street, but hit a tree real quick with your car, and at 30 miles an hour, the airbag deploys, and that's a big crash. So, we don't have airbags, and we don't typically hit stuff. I've gotten pretty good at it, but
well, some replays that we saw there the last couple of races.
Camera, yeah, you're right. They've been getting me crashing a lot. You're right. Here we go with that great drone footage of that number 2 ride, Bryson Neal, just on rails today. He these kinds of conditions, his bike's set up really good for it. I'm not going to say that the track doesn't play a factor, but usually this is more of a speed track. This is an endurance track. There's a lot of option lines, and the racers do get to come out and not have lap traffic will play a role, but you know, a big bottleneck or something. When the dirt's this good, it's pretty tough for that to play a factor.
Well, we know, like you said, speed is definitely a big factor in winning races, but race management is as well, knowing how to win and learning to win, and that's something that you even had to
to learn after? I mean, you won some races in the XC2 Pro-Am class, but it was different when you stepped up to the XC1 Pro class, right?
Absolutely. XC2 and XC1 are two completely different animals. So we're seeing get a little fuel, goggles, got some water, and we're going to be off. And I just saw Richardson come across the backside of the pits. It looks like he's probably opened it up to at least 20 seconds. That was a great pit stop on Neil's part on his team, so hats off to those guys. Like I said, they're you know, the number 2 ride has been real strong the last several seasons, but he's obviously starting to put those puzzle pieces together and maintain you know, a top 1 or 2 or 3 position, especially at the later stage of the race, and that's where you have to be able to win races. He always before would fall back, have an issue, hit a tree, get a little worked up in his mind maybe, but he's starting to figure it out, Ronnie.
And you know, probably one of the biggest lessons you ever learned about things like that might have taken place at this particular venue. What was it, 2014, when you were battling with Chris Borch for the championship and it came down to that win? Yeah, I remember seeing you go around this turn right here and going by. You were pumping your fist in the air. You hit the moto track and everything looked splendid. And then the last couple of turns, it all turned awry on you.
It all went south. Yeah, I made a couple little mistakes there, and Chris, obviously being a 5-time champion at that time, showed me why he was a 5-time champion at that time.
And obviously that is something that you learned a whole lot about through that too, didn't you?
100%, Rodney. Like I said, experience, race situations. I think a rider that's obviously starting to get a lot more of that is that number 7 that just came through the pits in the 3rd place position is Hunter Hart. I think that's a rider that, you know, having a 4th place last round, having a 3rd place at this round, I wouldn't be surprised to see him, you know, in that top 3 position at the next round as well, as long as today goes smooth.
I know a lot of folks were expecting big things out of Hunter coming into this and being his sophomore season and stuff, and especially after taking the win last year here at Ironman in the finale. You know, any big surprises for you? I mean, you see that typically with a lot of different riders. They seem to be going on very well their rookie season, and they have that kind of slump during their sophomore year. And like we're seeing right now, I mean, he's had that slump, but we've slowly seen himself inching his way back up toward the top 5, and now solidly a top 5 rider.
I don't believe it's a slump at all, Rodney. I believe that's the depth of our class right now. When you're seeing that number 3 rider, Chris Borch, riding around in the 7th place position, I mean, I know that is not where Chris Borch wants to ride, or that's not the Chris Borch that we know, but there are 6 very talented riders in front of him, and one little mistake and you're headed back towards a double-digit finish. So.
Yeah, easy too. It doesn't take much.
Yeah.
Josh Merritt's another rider that we've been seeing a lot of good things out of here in this last season. I know probably a lot of questions over the leading into the last couple of years about how serious he was. I thought, you know, when he came into the pro class, he's going to be serious, going to take the world by fire. Never really seemed to go out, and it never really seemed to take off. And then it seemed like as his flame was fizzling, something happened. Something sparked him back, man, and he's turned around in the last couple of seasons. Even though we haven't seen him consistently challenging for top 5 positions, we've seen notably great improvements out of that rider, I think.
Yeah, we've definitely seen some great things out of Josh Merritt recently. Here we go, that number 2 ride, or the number 1 ride today, but the number 2 on the bike. Bryson Neal taking that same line, much smoother than Wesley Wolf. So, you know, if he continues to go up that hill that quickly, that's going to pay off for him. Here's Cole Richardson. It seems like he's a little close.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. This might be part of the track where he's able to make gains on Bryson Neal, and the part of the track leading into the finish line might be where he's able to stretch things out. What the differences are there, but I don't know. But, man, look at the crowd down at Ironman Hill. The crowd on the hill itself. I seen guys actually jumping out of the way as Bryson was coming up. It was like they were just kind of watching. He's going to come up this line or not? Oh, yeah, here he comes. I better get out of the way.
Yep, absolutely. They it's almost like they want you to hit them, which that's obviously not what we're trying to do, and not what happens very often. But it's GNCC racing at its finest. They want to see the action, and if there's 10 guys in front of them, obviously they got to get a little bit further out in the track to see.
I imagine having fans like this is a double-edged sword for a rider. You love the atmosphere, you love the feeling that you get from it and the crowd itself, but at the same time, there's so many limitations out there because there's so many people. All of a sudden, your choices become limited because folks are standing in areas where you might really be thinking about going.
Yep, I'm sure these riders inspected this hill yesterday, and they probably had 5 or 6 options, and Rodney, there's 2. You might have a third, but it actually bleeds into the same line at the top of the hill. So you have 2.5 options. I don't know if they have the fence up this year. It doesn't almost look like they do. I know the last several seasons, to try to allow the riders to have some options, they were actually fencing parts of the hill off. I can't really see. But usually
got it down there.
Yeah, but back in the day, that hillside used to be people.
Yeah.
So I know that GNCC has been able to kind of
thin it out a little.
Keep some of the danger off the hill and give the riders a couple more options to go in case they would get a little sideways or something. So hats off to Racer Productions for not eliminating the obstacle, but finding a new way
to make it
safe and make it so the riders can still navigate.
Hey, man, that's the beauty of this series, man. I mean, as hard as they worked to get us back to racing, we were off racing for 8 weeks when everybody else was still in quarantine. We were going back racing, man, because they did the hard work and did the right things to get us into the places that we needed to get to with the social distancing, the personal protection devices that we mandate here in different places at the track and stuff. So, yeah, man, GNCC working on so many levels, and I just, like you say, from that standpoint to keeping us racing, just an amazing company, no doubt about it.
All right, we just had John Glotta go up the hill. That looks like Josh Merritt, possibly, that he may have dropped back a few positions. Wesley Wolf and Chris Borich are in that group as well. So I'll be curious to see if that was Josh Merritt. It definitely looked like his riding gear, but we'll see. Bryson Neal still looks like he's out there in the, I believe it's the 8.5 mile mark section. That drone footage, Rodney, this time of year, that's crazy. There's obviously barren crops, so it's just Bryson Neal doing his thing on his Yamaha.
And you look back and you do not see this. There's the second place rider now. Wow, look at Cole. Wow, okay. Cole is rolling it.
I see a little fever in that rider.
Yeah.
And that's definitely closer than 20. It still is probably about 15, but he has managed the gap at least.
Right.
This stage in the race is where Bryson's kind of learned from me. It's go time. Let's see if we can't drop these guys and get rolling. I believe 2 something.
Yeah, that's what I was looking there. I didn't quite catch the entire number. I didn't know if he's one of our top 20 overall riders or not. I don't.
Alrighty, I'm going to say that was Brandon Owens, because Austin Abney is coming up the hill now.
So he's gotten around Austin Abney then, it looks like.
And I saw those Austin Abney shirts just gave him a push to the top of the hill. He didn't need it, but they were giving him a big pat on the back as he's coming by.
Hey, speaking of Austin Abney, did you see the big head cutout that they had of him?
I was going to say, I think one of them's actually down here in the creek, or it might be on the hill, but there's a big cardboard something here on the right. That's just the pit board. Abney is behind you. That's fantastic.
Whoever that board was for, they're only worried about one rider, I guess. On the one side it says Abney is in front of you.
I bet if we see this front side of this pit board, I bet that's what it says.
It's probably Brandon Owens' pit board.
That's really
great.
Fantastic.
And you know what's really funny is, I mean, you do develop those rivalries with riders over the years, do you not?
Oh, absolutely. I know right now, obviously, Drew Landers is part of my team, but when I'm in the booth here, I have to be neutral. You know, I'm a race fan, so whatever it takes to have good racing. I know that there's never been bad blood per se. There's Johnny Gallagher coming into the creek a little fast. Johnny, slow down. There's the number 14 of Drew Landers, probably 40 seconds or so behind Austin Abney, who he does need to beat today. I believe.
He needs to beat him today and at the last round, and there has to be, I think, 4 or 5 positions between them, and it's got to be. It's kind of a stretch. I mean, the realm of possibilities still is there, but it's a stretch to go to be able to make.
It's a stretch, but if you're behind him, it's already out of the question. So I know Drew's wanting to get back to the front there, and he's got right at half the race now to do it. So I'll be curious to see if the number 14 ride can make that happen. I know coming into this race, he desperately at least wants to take it to the last round, give himself a full shot, and know that he gave it his all. And I know that right now, Indiana Abney fans, they want to see it done today.
Yeah, they want to see it done today. But realistically, there is Neal now. Looks like he might be caught up in some lap traffic out there, possibly heading into the Monster Mile. But you know, expanding on his current situation with the Epstein Barr, I mean, that's something that's pretty shocking, I think, for a rider to realize what they have, and I'm sure he's got a game plan as far as the rest of the season and the off season is concerned as well.
Yeah, absolutely, Rodney. You know, he needs time too. He needs time to get healthy and get get back on his feet there. Here comes Michael McAvoy for sure. That's one of my riding partners during the week. Baby Mac, as we like to call him. So good to see him get on camera, and I'm glad I could tell it was you, Mac. So
18th overall, by the way.
Oh, perfect. Top 20. That's a great ride for him.
Actually, yeah, 18th overall.
Perfect.
Yeah.
He is behind you.
I thought he moved up to 16th. Oh, that's just a lid off of a tote.
With some, what do they call that? Electrical tape.
That's great, man. I love it. GNCC Racing Nation at its finest, man. They don't come any better than they do here in Indiana, no doubt about it. Bryson Hill still leading. Cole Richardson, Hunter Hart, Jared McClure, John Glada Jr. still back in the number 5 spot. Can Josh Barrett bridge the gap, take a top 5? As the day wears on, will Hunter Hart edge himself into the competition? Stick around to find out. GNCC Live continues after this.
It's hard to put our adventures on hold, but now is the perfect time to prepare for their return. AMSOIL has your back with fast, free shipping, and ordering has never been easier. Just look up your vehicle, select your product, add an oil change to your cart, and check out. Spend $50 on AMSOIL products, and shipping is on us. Order now at AMSOIL.com.
Even when you're the best, you never stop striving to be better. With over 40 years of experience in motorcycle sales and service, we know racing. Our inventory of Yamaha motorcycles, sport bikes, dirt bikes, ATVs, and side-by-sides is extensive and constantly changing. Stop by LoJack Cycle Sales today in Tarentum, Pennsylvania, and visit our online inventory at www.lojacks.com. Yamaha YZs. It's why we ride.
Hi, my name is Andrea Lieb, the director of On Track School. How would you like to go to a school where we take into consideration how students learn best? Well, we do that because we find if we can build the curriculum around the things you are interested in, you're going to do a better job. The mission at On Track School is that educational success is possible while chasing your dreams. Not only will our staff help students to achieve success, they will cheer you on to the finish line. We encourage you to check out On Track School at ontrackschool.com, where we can help you chase your dreams and still get a quality education.
We are American motorcyclists. We are members of the American Motorcyclist Association. Racers, fans, and crew. We come together for this sport we love, to race together, to grow together. We start young and not so young. We race motorcycles and ATVs. We become friends, we become family. We compete for weekend bragging rights and national championships. We make memories on the toughest off-road courses in the country and on the best motocross tracks in the world. Some of us aspire to the speed and poise of road racing or the fierce competitiveness of American flat track, and we honor our greatest champions in the AMA Motorcycle Hall of Fame. Through it all, we cheer, we win, and we lose. We are racing. We are the AMA. Race with us. Be part of the greatest sport in the world. Be an American motorcyclist. Join us today at www.amajoin.com/join-now.
This week in Yamaha history takes us back to the 2005 Ironman GNCC. The pink race was born that year, and Johnny Gallagher donned a pink tutu to celebrate. It was lots of fun and laughs before the seriousness got underway. It was the age of Yamaha's Bill Balance and his 9 straight championships. GNCC greats and production ATV pioneers like Matt Smiley, Brian Cook, Brian Baker, Chris Jinks, Santo DeRisi, and Chad Duvall were just a few of the day's top stars. As the race began, all could tell it was going to be a long and challenging race. Conditions for the 10-year celebration of the event started out with what many may consider near perfect. As the race wore on and the riders worked the lines, it was obvious that things were soft and muddy and only got softer. Bill Balance had taken the lead on lap 1 and appeared to be looking for his 6th win of the season.
Visiting AMA Pro ATV motocross champion John Natale trailed by only 3 seconds, followed by Chris Borch and William Yoakley in 4th. By the end of lap 2, Yoakley had moved into the lead with Balance back in 3rd and Natale hot on the heels of Yoakley. By the end of lap 3 of 5, the Yamaha-mounted Bill Balance had latched on to Yoakley, riding no further than 2 seconds behind until the last lap, where he lost time trying to make a pass on Yoakley for the win in the closing moments. William Yoakley captured the checkers and the victory on that day, etching his name in the GNCC history pages forever. And that's this week in Yamaha history.
Grand National Cross Country is America's premier off-road motorcycle racing series. Riders compete on extended cross-country courses of 8 to 12 miles per lap and races lasting up to 3 hours. Up the mountains and through the trees, you'll find the best riders in GNCC. On MAV TV, Motorsports Network.
Like you said, last race was definitely Dust Bowl. It was one of the dustiest conditions I ever rode in. And, you know, I pushed a little too hard there in the dust and ended up crashing, which, you know, it's kind of a rookie move. I was pretty bummed, but just kind of got that out of my mind. You know, short memory, come here with a fresh mindset. And I always liked Ironman. Like you said, it was a rough year with everything going on, and we weren't sure we were getting a full season, but it looks like we're going to get all 13 rounds, so that's always cool. You know, got to thank Racer Productions for making that happen. I know it was a tough year for everybody, and always excited to be at Ironman. I seem to do well here at this place. I don't know if it's just the hills and stuff that's kind of similar to home, but always seem to do well here, so excited to go out. Conditions look near perfect. A little bit of rain yesterday, so dust should not be an issue. We got the creek crossings, are always fun, so just looking to have a good race.
And welcome back to Ironman Raceway, Crawfordsville, Indiana, the Shaver family farm. It is round 12 of the GNCC series. Rodney Tomlin along today with Mikey Waynes and guest announcer Walker Fowler, our 6-time GNCC champion. Walker, another great day and another lap, it looks like, wrapping up here right now as Bryson Neal seems to have opened this lead up again somewhere in that neighborhood of 20 seconds or so. We'll see, get a full account in detail here in just a moment, but there's Neal checking in. Lap number 3 in the history books. These laps are a little short, so this race may seem a little long. 2-lap card is out, so we know we're going to have ourselves a 5-lap race here today.
5-lap race, Rodney, and it actually should be still around that 2-hour mark, but maybe a hair over, like a 2:04, 2:03 maybe, but we'll see.
You know, as
like Cole Richardson's struggling a little bit in those corners. I'm not sure. Maybe he's got a low tire or something, but it kept running a bicycle on him. He's definitely dropped closer to 130.
Almost 32 seconds now, so 31.4 actually. And look, third place is starting to close up on him there. I think is that Hunter Hart making his way around now? Maybe not. Maybe a lapped rider.
Might be a lap rider.
Yeah, I think that's a lapped rider coming through. But Walker, you know, this is something we always speculate on from the announcer's booth. You guys are so accustomed to doing on a general basis a 4-lap race. We've had obviously a few times this year where we've seen the 5-lap races, and in the early part of the season, you know, we kept speculating and wondering if maybe that 5th lap, especially in the hot, drier conditions and stuff like that, maybe played a little bit of a game with your mind out there, thinking and feeling like the race might be a little longer. Is that the case, or do you just feel it according to time?
It's definitely mentally it does kind of mess with you. Physically, the track actually does get rougher, and you do encounter more lap traffic. Obviously, that means the track's a little bit shorter. I'm curious to see. Okay, that got out of the way. So I know Bryson Neal's coming towards this section, so I was really wondering if we were going to see this rider able to get out of the way in time for him.
He zigzagged.
But yeah, the 5-lappers, I hate them. I really do not like them. It's starting to be kind of a lot more common thing. I think it makes for a little bit better racing. Obviously, for TV, we get to come by the photo or the video portions of the track more often with a 5-lap race, so it is better for racing. And honestly, if we had to do 6 or 7 laps and that made our racing stronger and better and maybe more whatever for bigger companies to come in and put it on TV, then let's do it. You know, I'm down for it. So we adapt and overcome is a favorite saying in our household, and
Yeah, doesn't matter how many laps you make. It's the time you're running anyway out there.
Time we're running. It's still a 2-hour race. It's still a huge challenge.
Yeah, and you still get as many miles under the track. But like you said, where the course is shorter, what happens is you run into the lap traffic a little more, and the track does get chewed out a little more because you go over it more times.
Absolutely, Rodney.
So very
kind
good
of interesting.
Point. Yeah.
I don't believe anybody's come through there yet. But Rodney, how does that top 3 look after?
Well, Neil, Richardson, Hunter Hart has pulled to within 19 seconds, so he is 0.6 seconds. He is now less than 20 seconds behind Cole Richardson. 25:28 lap time for Bryson Neal. 25:41 lap time for Cole Richardson, but a 26:22. Oh, that's a minute and 19 seconds. I was going to say, how did he turn a whole minute slower and only he'd be 19 seconds? But that's 1 minute and 19 seconds. I'm sorry. I thought he was a little closer than that. Jared McClure is only 19 seconds behind that. 44 seconds back behind him is John Glotta Jr. Now, here's a name. Honestly, dude, you have to have him on your radar. I think coming out of that XC2 class, you were thinking about him in the back of your mind in the early part of the season, I'm sure.
Absolutely. He was definitely somebody that I thought that was going to be real tough at the beginning. I think he had a couple of races struggle. I think he kind of got that rookie, I'm not going to say initiation by any means. That's not really a thing per se, unless you make it a thing. But, you know, I think he just had his challenges, and I think he kind of got down on himself. And actually, I think that was around the same time that Josh Merritt was down there with him. I believe you're seeing better results from both riders. Merritt has actually come back home to Ohio, and now you're seeing both riders actually doing better. So maybe they were goofing off. I don't know. Maybe they were kind of butting heads and not being able to ride and train like they needed to. So who knows? But I know Josh Merritt actually has improved since coming home, and I know that John Glotta's improved.
But the thing about it is, you know, maybe it could be timing, coincidence, or whatever the case may be. But yeah, maybe the work they did together helped set them up to work by themselves to help themselves improve. You know what I mean?
So, and I don't think there's any love lost there between them. I know they're still pretty good friends, but if it's not working, you got to try something. So I think you're seeing both riders go a little bit different path, and I think it's becoming a very successful venture for both of them.
No doubt, and it's going to be, I think, a great career for both of them. It's going to be I don't know what it is about Josh, but I'm really behind this young man. I mean, he's got such a great winning personality. You want to see him do well. You know what I mean?
Yep, absolutely. I've gotten to spend a little bit more time with him since he's come home. And he's such a goofy guy, but he's still a very tough competitor, and you can't sit in a room with him and him not make you smile. And I love to smile. So Josh, we're rooting for you, buddy. Keep it up.
Yep, no doubt. So rolling through this one again, Neal, Richardson, Hart, McClure. Let's look at some of the other classes. Let's look and see how things are shaping up for the XC2. I think some riders are starting to check in there. We've had some good battles also in the College A class this year. Brandon Owens leading Austin Abney, 13.1 seconds. So that lid off of that container doesn't need to be shown just yet anyway, at least that one side that says Abney is ahead of you.
Yep.
Drew Landers was running about a minute and 10 seconds behind Owens and Abney in that number 3 spot. He had at the end of lap number 2 only about a half-second lead over Noah Mickelson, and Ronnie Rush was another 19 seconds back in the number 5 position. Ronnie Rush is another, I think, rider that we haven't really got a chance to see him prove what he is capable of. We've got to see little glimpses of him, but man, that is another kid that is just dynamite waiting to explode, I think.
You never know, and I think, like you said, he's just waiting for that opportunity. I know we've seen a few glimpses of him, but you know, it's you can't count your chickens before they hatch.
No,
but I've done some local races with him, and he definitely has what it takes. I think he just maybe gets here, maybe lets the pressure get to him or something. I don't know.
That was the next question I was going to ask, because we do hear about this a lot, and I've even heard you talk about some of the riders. You've told me, man, Cole is rolling, man. He kicked so-and-so's butt. He kicked my butt. So-and-so's rolling. We're down here in Florida. You always hear these, and you think, oh, my gosh, when we get to GNCC Racing, this is going to be off the scale. But it falls back into normal order once you get back at the Nationals. Do you think it's the pressure of this particular championship that really weighs on a lot of these riders?
I would say absolutely. I know that more years than not, I know I let the pressure get to myself, and I know that a lot of other riders have to be feeling that same pressure, whether it's for sponsorships, whether it's for families, whether it's for personal pride, or something to prove that particular day. You've had a bad week, or someone poked you on Instagram or something. You never know what's going on. So You know, it's Hunter Hart. Yes, I know that we've seen that number 2 of Bryson Neal come by. I know we've seen Cole Richardson come by. I've actually got my stopwatch ready just in case they go to that 3 real quick. So there's obviously the number 7 ride, and we should be seeing Jared McClure. I'm going to say that was Jared because that seemed very fast and very controlled, and that's the sneaky snake for you. That looks like moose riding gear, so I'm going to say it was. And same thing. Obviously, we keep going 1, 2, 3, and I feel like then we talk about 5, 6, 7, and we just skip Jared. Now I see how it happens.
Yeah.
He's so under the radar. It's amazing. I have no idea how he keeps doing that. And I guess
how do you think he earned the name Sneaky Snake? That's why I call him Sneaky Snake.
It's just hilarious because I'm watching it happen in front of me and I can't stop it.
At least I don't feel bad anymore about all that.
It's not you, for sure. It's just he just puts himself in these weird positions. And then on the last lap, you know, I'm sure we're going to see a great battle for that number 3 spot. Unless something happens, I think obviously a minute and 20 seconds behind second place. Something serious is going to have to happen. Obviously, maybe Cole is not losing time like I thought he was coming into the scoring. Maybe there was not an issue. It just looked like he was bicycling a lot. It seemed like, I don't know if his tire was low or he was just...
Well, he did drop several seconds there. I mean, he dropped from, an 18-second gap to 31 seconds. He dropped from a 25.12 to a 25.41. So, I mean, he slowed down about 30 seconds on that particular lap. And it looks like we're heading into the MMI pit stops now. Some splashes of gas and getting these guys ready to head back out there. That is the number 4 machine, Cole Richardson in, huh?
Yep. I believe that's going to be back-to-back pit laps for him. I could be wrong. I know that Bryson Neal pitted the lap before.
And it sounds like Mikey Waynes might be down in the MMI, the BP Fuels pit road, and MMI pit stops going on. Mikey, what's going on, buddy?
Yeah, just updating you. Bryson Neal came through. He had a 20-second lead through the pits as he went through. He did not stop for a second time, so I think they're going to go ahead and send it.
All righty. And Cole Richardson, with him stopping that time with 20 seconds, I mean, you're going to say 25, or actually make that now probably closer to a 35, 36-second gap that we were, or 25-second gap, I guess, because he had taken away the 11 seconds down to 20. So, yeah, so we're back up to about 25 seconds. But he's making up time. We're seeing him do it.
And I don't know if you can see the smile on my face, but I love when the pits get involved in the race.
Yeah.
Now Cole Richardson is good for the race. He does not have to stop unless he would cut a fuel line or something. He is going to make it on fuel. Now it falls on Bryson Neal's pits. Do we risk it? What's our fuel mileage? This is a fast track, Rodney.
Yeah. Are they using more gas today, you think?
You are using gas. This is the dirt's great, but it's a heavy dirt,
right, and
you're not spinning the wheels, but man, you were putting maximum traction, maximum horsepower to the ground, and Bryson Neal is on the throttle hard. I would not be surprised if Bryson has to stop going into the last lap, and I think if Cole Richardson can have a great lap, can get within 5-6 seconds, the pits could win him the race.
You're right.
In the last race that we were at, the pits won Cole Richardson the race.
Yeah.
So we might get to see 2 times in a row, and that's why I'm kind of smirking over here. I'm like, you sneaky dog, you. That's just how you got me last time.
Gonna get Bryson now. I can see it coming up on the. Well, I mean, wow. I mean, you mentioned gas mileage. You yourself, victim of some gas problems and issues. I think we've seen Adam McGill have those problems. Bryson's had those problems. I mean, there's a lot of you top guys that have had that this season. Why is that so particularly different this year than in years past? Is it because you guys are willing to take the risk and make the gamble because things are so much tighter than maybe they have been in years past?
Yeah, honestly, it just depends on where the start was for the first lap, which they started at the 3.
Right.
If we start later in the race, here's Bryson Neal on camera at the 6. So I'm curious. I'm going to put a timer on him as he exits now. Okay.
Same line. He has
same line.
Yep.
He's comfortable, and obviously, I mean, right up it. Look at that. That's just he's just so hard on the throttle. This rider's not making it. Definitely.
You saw that wasn't going to happen.
Yeah, you saw what throttle did to get you up the hill, and now we're seeing what throttle did not do. I'm wondering if we're going to miss Richardson now because of this.
Maybe we can get him to pan
Luckily,
back.
Cole is accustomed to going to that left line.
Yeah. So it shouldn't affect him, and that wouldn't have affected him. So where are we at on time now?
We're at 32 seconds.
Well, we may have missed him, or is he not made it through yet? That is the big question.
That's still not him. That's a Honda.
I'm going to go under the assumption.
I'm going to say
yeah, he's already probably gone through. If he was at 25 seconds or so, whenever they came out of the pits, there's a good chance.
I'm going to say that we must have missed him, which means that he is within the 30-second gap, which means that he has made up time and has already pitted. So that's actually super impressive if you think about it, you know.
I like the rider's little head bobble there going on through there.
I don't know if that was a happy bobble or a
cursing bobble.
Yep. So this section, after they go up Ironman Hill, I believe you follow the creek there. You go up the hill, and they would have probably crossed the road and dropped kind of over by the. Actually, no. This is going to be right before they get to Ironman Hill. You follow the creek, so you're actually going upstream right now along the creek. And Rodney, that gets really red. It's real sandy down there. And the morning shouldn't have ran that, but as you saw when they were coming out of the woods on the drone cam, the ruts are really starting to develop. And by the end of the race, it is gnarly down there. It's like Florida sand whoops, but there's these giant rocks. And a lot of broken chains down there.
Wow.
A lot of broken chains. So I'd be really curious.
Different than Steel Creek, Sandy Creek bottom down there?
Similar, but more rocky.
Really?
Steel Creek's is a lot more Florida-y with tree roots. This has no tree roots and just these boulders.
And you would think that there would be more rock. I mean, because there are a lot of rocks there at Steel Creek, believe it or not.
But I don't know what the difference is, but man, look at that fall foliage too. I would have figured the storms and whatnot would have blown it off, but definitely some beautiful shots today at Ironman Raceway. What'd you say, the 20?
It's the 26th running. We started in 1995. This would make our 25th year and 26 runnings.
That is unreal. That is so impressive.
No doubt. Watching things go here, we're nearing the 1 hour 22 minute mark as far as today's racing is concerned. We are on lap 3, probably about midway through, so we got probably a little better than a lap and a half or so to go here. Should put us right around that 2 hour mark. 25-minute laps actually will probably put us maybe a little after the 2 hour mark, but not by much, like you said, by 5 minutes or so, which isn't a lot. But I imagine, though, under the right conditions, 5 minutes could probably seem like eternity.
5 minutes is where you run out of fuel.
Yeah.
I have played that game so many times in my career. I don't know how we always end up, like you said, almost screwing it up. But myself, fuel mileage and our pit strategy, like I said, I wanted to get back to that. Where the start is, the length of the first lap, which usually is dictated by where the start is, and then lap traffic conditions. There's a lot of factors. So anymore, it seems like we are having to pit twice for fuel. The 4-lap races, we usually can't stretch it out. Chris Borich on camera now, going up the same hill that Bryce and Neal did. Just about as clean. Good job, Chris. Attaboy. Another rider with a all-pink onesie on. I like to see that. Breast cancer awareness. I'm not sure if that was Wesley Wolf, and I believe that is Josh Merritt.
Yeah.
Definitely Yamaha, definitely Moose gear.
It seems about where he should be. Yep. You're not far behind. Actually, he's lost a little bit of time on Chris Borich. It looks like he was only a second or two behind Chris Borich at the finish line, so might have lost a little bit of time there for him right now. But looking at the top 20 overall, I'm kind of surprised. We do. I finally see a College A rider starting to, and Steve Harrell there out of Elk Ridge, Maryland. Where did this guy come from? I know, I mean, it was like he was non-existent, and then all of a sudden he popped onto the scene and has become a huge threat in that class.
He is obviously a huge threat. I guess he was a NOAA, I believe they call it now, right? New York Off-Road rider. And I think he started the year in the C class and absolutely blew everyone away.
Really?
And like majorly blew everyone away. So next race, let's go to B class. And he blew him away. And I don't even think he started the year in Georgia or Florida. I think it was like a mid-year thing. He just decided, I don't know if he had just turned 16. I have no idea. I know very little about him. But I do know that he has moved up into that A class, and I think he is still killing everybody. Yeah. And I would not be surprised if you see Steve Harrell in the XC2 class next year, pretty much putting it to everybody based on his results and his finishes. I know he's a younger guy, but he is tough.
And Walker, to solidify and validate what you're saying, Steve Harrell right now has a 1 minute and 35-second lead over second place in the College A class of Trey Seifert. Corey Vandeliner in third, Chase Allison in fourth aboard the number 470, and it looks like fifth place, the 425 of Cody Forrester. And of course, pretty exciting seeing a little different names. Dalton Keys is down there a little bit. We don't see Grayson Eller. He's out because of injury in an ATV motocross incident in Houston, Texas a few weeks ago, a couple months ago, I guess it would have been. But nonetheless, the face of this College A class has changed quite a bit. But Stephen Harrell is really, I think, opening some eyes, like you said. We're going to find out more about this guy. Sounds like Mikey Waynes might have one of Indiana's own, Miss Sadie Welch, down in the pits. What's going on, Mikey?
Hey, thanks, Rodney. Yeah, down here with Purdue University student, pre-med student, cheerleader, Miss Indiana, WXC pro rider. Although I want to know, Sadie Welch, where the heck were you this morning? You told me you were going to race.
Yes, and that was on Wednesday, and come Thursday, my mechanic said, hey, your quad's not going to be ready till Monday, and I thought that was a typo, but he was right, and I wasn't able to race. School got in the way, and life happens.
That tricky schooling, Sadie. Well, talk to us. Where you been all season? You've been a busy person out here.
I've been racing the local series, Indiana Cross Country Racing, in the B class, just riding with the guys and trying to keep up some skills so I don't look so retired.
Well, come out of retirement next year and race with us at the GNCC.
My dad said when I graduate from my undergrad, I get a year of racing before med school.
All right, there you go. And I wish there was some way of knowing who you're rooting for today.
No, Austin Abney might be the one.
There you go. Thank you, Sadie Welch. We'll send it back to you in the booth, Rodney.
Wow, and I heard that Austin Abney was one of the GNCC's most hated racers. Sounds like he's loved to me. No, Austin's got a lot of fans out there, you know, and Austin has certainly made a huge and monumental mark on this racing, no doubt. Folks, we got more great racing coming. We got an amateur rundown, and we're going to find out who's going to win the Ironman GNCC. Stick around. Less than a lap and a half to go here at the Ironman, and GNCC continues after this.
When you crave the canyon passes, rocky trails, rutted tracks, the podiums and personal records, it becomes part of you. The choice now is, do you become a wanderer or the wanderer? You just need to ride where you belong.
Well, when you talk GNCC racing, my friends, we often think about the XC1 Pros, but the GNCC Racing Nation made up of so many more, which help make it all possible, including our amateurs. As we take a look at your amateur rundown, look at the Junior B 22-plus class, Nick May, Luke Lohan, Jake Allball, William Wallace, and Travis Mathias, your top 5 in that class. The Bet B 30-plus class seeing Cody Holcomb after the first 3 laps out front, Ben Dunlap in second, Andrew Carlson in third, David Kite Jr. out of Northeast Maryland in fourth, and Wesley Smith rounding out the top 5.
Back down to the senior B 40-plus class. Bill Berger out of Reedsville, Wisconsin, the father of the WMX national champion 2 times over, out there leading this class. Jason Flaviano, Daniel Dakota, Steve Combs, and Robert Stevens in your top 5. 3 of those guys are national ATV motocross stars as well. As we look at that pro class, obviously Bryson Neal, Cole Richardson, Hunter Hart, Jared McClure, and John Glotta Jr. your top 5 there. We see Wolf Merritt, Borch, Vian, and Greg Covert rounding out the top 10 in the XC1 class. The XC2 Pro-Am class, Brandon Owens still out front after 3. Austin Abbey in 2nd. Drew Landers a little over a minute in 3rd. Noah Mickelson in 4th. Ronnie Rush in 5th. Tanner Walker, Lee Smith, Michael McAvoy, Cole Setzer, and Ben Berger, the 10th place position. Stephen Harrell leading that College A class, as we've been talking about that. Trey Seifert back in the number 2 spot. Corey Vanderliner running in the number 3 position. It's Chase Allison in 4th. Cody Forrester rounds out your top 5. The Junior A 22-plus class, Brody Livingood is the leader there out of Falling Waters, West Virginia. Justin Ison in 2nd. Jeremy Ladon in the number 3 spots. Alex Elioff in 4th. And Mitchell Kidd rounds out your top 5. As we look at the Bet A 30-plus class, Big Papa P, Jeff Pickens leading this one now out of Shamokin, Pennsylvania, over Curtis Crump out of Hubbard, Ohio in 2nd. Michael Lancaster is running 3rd. Dirk DeCesar in 4th. Brad Whitehead rounds out your top 5. And A.J. Kuntz, whom we normally see battling for wins, all the way back in 9th. Senior A 40-plus class, Jeremy Reeves out front of Mark Batson right now. As those two go at it, Todd Muscala moving up to the Senior A class is 3rd. Michael Hayes in 4th. Brian Axline rounds out your top 5. Curtis Balfback out of the College B class, leading that one out of Greensburg, Tennessee, over Caden Ryan out of St. Clairsville, Ohio. Your 3rd place position is Chance Hickey. 4th place, Dominic Stevens, and rounding out the top 5 then, Luke Wilson from Forest Hill, Maryland. That's your College B 16 to 21. Junior B 22-plus class, Nick May out of Monongahela, Pennsylvania, leading Luke Lohan. Jacob Allball back in the number 3 spot. William Wallace and Travis Mathias round out the top 5. I believe that's where we started there just a few moments ago. And that, my friends, your amateur rundown brought to you by your good friends Rocky Mountain ATVMC.com. Get ready. Picking the action back up on the screen here as we're waiting on our leaders. Going to be picking them up out here on the course. Going to be at the finish line, actually, for the conclusion of lap number 4. The next time we see these leaders, Rodney Tomlin here, along with Mikey Waynes out and about in the pits. And, of course, 6-time GNCC champion Walker Fowler has joined us in the booth today. He's not racing, so he'll be also giving and has given us a lot of insight as to what this pro class is all about. You know, I could sit and talk to Walker all day long about this racing, and it's good to have his angle and his point of view in here today. So thanks, Walker, for being a part of it. An hour and now almost 33 minutes, an hour and 33 minutes. So technically, we are within a half hour or so of a checker flag flying, and we are waiting on our leaders here at the finish line, which I believe may be inching their way towards it right now, getting closer and closer. And we'll get, and that is I couldn't tell if that was a yellow helmet for sure or not, but that is Bryson Neal. Man, slicing through that like butter, headed toward the finish line region through that finish line chicane. Really seems to have this racing thing all dialed in. We've seen some great and promising rides out of Bryson with a couple of wins. White flag coming out for him this time around. He's also had a lot of close calls and near wins this season, so he's getting tougher and tougher, there's no doubt about it. Hey, folks, if you're out and about here on property, you may want to keep an eye out for a little beagle dog. If you see a little beagle dog running around or you happen to find one, the folks lost one out on the start line. And if you happen to see that dog, know its whereabouts, maybe picked it up. If you don't care to bring it over to rider registration and let folks know that where that dog is and it's safe, we would certainly appreciate that. Well, Cole Richardson has checked in the number 2 spot, 21.7 seconds back. So as Walker and I had anticipated, not a lot of changes between first and second place, but the gap is really starting to open up between the second and third place position. Hunter Hart having his best ride of the season, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe going back to one of the Georgia rounds, he had a pretty good run going, but man, certainly today, this consistent third place position since at least lap 2 on. I think he
hasn't relinquished it to anyone. He's got a 19-second gap between himself and second, had a 19-second gap back to the number 4 spot of the sneaky snake, Jared McClure. John Glotta, as we'd said, was rounding out the top 5. Now as we check in at the finish line, nope, that's not Hunter checking in. I looked up real quick. I thought maybe I saw a pro rider going through the finish line, but that's not the case. Gap still widening between the second and third place positions, and man, you can really tell that Bryson Neal and Cole Richardson have really gone to the Walker Fowler school of going fast out here in these woods, as they have reached a whole new level and are bringing everybody in the class to a whole different level of racing as far as off-roads and woods racing is concerned. Still waiting on Hunter Hart or your third place position, if that still be Hunter Hart, and still wondering whether or not that gap is within that minute. I said 19 seconds. I meant 1 minute and 19 seconds. I keep looking past that one for Hunter Hart, but he had a 19-second gap back to the number 4 spot of Jared McClure. Now, last time around, McClure was a little bit faster. Actually, McClure turned the exact same lap time, I think, as Hunter Hart. John Glotta was the one that was a little bit faster, so we may see Glotta actually starting to inch his way up. Thank you very much. Starting to inch his way up toward the front of the pack as well, maybe start to mount some challenges as we wait for the leaders now at the 2-mile marker, also known as the FMF PowerPoint. Gotta love the race fans, especially whenever they're cooking cookies like that, huh, Walker Fowler?
Absolutely. I bailed out of the studio here, and we went in the motorhome for a snack, and we had some Vicky Fowler's famous cookies. And I brought you some, and it looks like Mom beat me to it.
Now, I don't know who that lady was that came up. Was that your mom?
That was my mom. She's dressed up as a breast cancer awareness
I
witch.
could not. I didn't. I was like, I should know that lady.
Costume,
but
right?
Yeah, it was.
Yep.
She doesn't even look like. That was Vicky. I didn't even realize. I was about to hit on her, man. I'm just
Easy.
just playing with you, buddy.
That would actually make her day, probably.
Hey,
alrighty,
it's always
I
nice.
heard that Cole Richardson is within 21 seconds of Bryson Neal.
Yep.
So he obviously is not having any issues, and he is clearly on rails.
Wow. 2 minutes and 26 seconds now back to the third place ride of Hunter Hart, and only 7.5 seconds back to Jared McClure now in the number 5 position.
Yep,
or 4 position, I'm sorry.
I was just going to say, I'm over here bragging about Cole, but obviously Bryson Neal and Cole Richardson are on rails. There's 2 Yamaha riders. Wait a second. We have 3 Yamahas on Yamaha's Ironman GNCC today. So right now, I'm not trying to make any Honda fans upset, but yeah, there are definitely 3 Yamahas winning the overall podium right now. So looking pretty good to be a guy on blue.
You know, remarkably, and I'm as much a diehard all-around fan as anybody, but I'm surprised and I'm shocked that there isn't more people riding Yamahas, to be honest with you. And I'm not saying that blowing smoke because you're standing here, because this is a Yamaha event, but the support that they put into ATV racing in general is in my opinion, second to none right now.
Absolutely, Rodney. Yamaha's the only ones making a sport quad right now, and it's not going anywhere. They love GNCC racing, they love ATV motocross, they love trail riding, and they're even obviously becoming a bigger threat in the side-by-side world. I had the opportunity this morning, or this afternoon, to introduce the Wolverine R-Max XTR edition, 1000 cc machine. What an incredible machine. Class-leading horsepower, suspension. We have Bryson Neal on camera right now. I'm over here trying to do a commercial. Come on, Bryson. No, I'm kidding. Let's get a timer on him, top of the hill.
Wow.
Did you see those leaves flying?
Yeah, he's just ripping, man.
Well, obviously, I'm sure that he's gotten some pit boards that say that number 4 ride with that big pink bumper is coming his way.
And is that him right there?
I can't tell. I know it's
moving awful slow.
Here he comes down the hill. He's about to cross the creek. Wheelie it. Oh, there we go, Cole.
Where are we at on time now?
Bryson stretching out slightly, about 26 seconds.
Well, if you notice, there are some more riders in between them, so lap traffic could be starting to play its toll right now.
Yeah, absolutely, Rodney. I believe, like you said, lap traffic is definitely probably what's happened. That, and I know that right now Neal is feeling pressured, and he doesn't want this one to slip away. Tied for second in points with Cole Richardson. You have 20 minutes right now to make it count. So obviously,
and as much, I mean, it's not a championship, it's not the #1 plate, but whenever you look at the grand scheme of thing, it is the next best thing in this ATV racing world. And I know you've probably been there. Well, no, you've always won championships, and the #2 plate was nice, but you were always looking for #1, just like everybody else is. But I mean, when you get into a situation where you've got a rider as dominant as what you have been and what you are currently in this ATV season, if you can't win the championship, second place almost is kind of like the, I guess, the backup there. You're like, okay, well, I didn't beat Walker. That's kind of understandable. But, man, I got second, you know, and that's something. That is something to get amped up about, because there's a lot of guys chasing you right now.
And, you know, most of the time, riders only get one win to their credit, maybe a second win. We have Cole Richardson on camera now. I do have a timer on him. And it does seem that the lap traffic, he's got about 32 seconds now, so it has started to stretch out yet again.
Sounds like Mikey Waynes. Mikey, you got something going on, buddy?
Hey, just wanted to update you guys from the pits. Bryson Neal pits, locked and loaded. Looks like he's going to get a splash of fuel and head back out. So not risking anything here. They want to make sure they can seal the deal on it.
Well, I'll tell you, you know what? The scenario that we were looking at a lap ago and the way that we were presenting that, you know, I mean, we were looking at hoping for a possibility of things tightening up from a fan standpoint to see what kind of situation would develop with that pitting strategy that seemed to pay huge dividends a couple of weeks ago and probably would have paid huge dividends here today. But again, in this 5-lap race, you know, it's funny you said lap traffic. That was one of the first things you said about an extra lap is the rougher tracks and the lap traffic. That's exactly what I noticed on this particular lap. The lappers between first and second place now, as opposed to the previous laps.
100%. I think that, and like I said, I know that Cole Richardson pitted last lap, so I believe that you're going to see Bryson Neal obviously trying to gain a little bit of time, knowing that he has to stop. He will be losing 5 or 6 seconds here, so he knows that this is a big deal. They got to have a clean pit. Let's see what they do.
No goggles, no gloves, no drink.
We don't have time for that. Don't need it. He's been out front. Cole Richardson, 27 seconds. The gap should be about 23, 24 seconds now, based on the stop. Cole Richardson actually did make up about 7 seconds since the camera angle, but there were probably 8 riders behind Richardson that they would have just both navigated. And like you said, that extra lap is definitely starting to show its face right now. The track's getting a little rougher. I think some of the B riders and the lower A riders are starting to get a little tired. They're starting to get in these big trains, Rodney, and that's where the hill climbs this lap. That's where the mud holes this lap.
Now, is that something in your mind when you're riding? Do you worry about lap traffic, or do you try to put that behind you and just attack it as it comes to you?
Attack as it comes to you, but obviously I'm not, as I'm watching it unfold on camera, it's not a wonder that a lot of these scenarios that end up happening happen. You know, like I said, I just saw 10 guys behind Richardson that I know he just had to get around every single one of them.
And they just got right back by him when it goes by into the pits.
Well, actually, he pitted, so now
that's right.
That's a good thing, but Bryson had to have just worked his way through those guys.
So getting through those riders, that's going to give him a little clean air up front, the time that it took Bryson in the pits. So, yeah, you're right.
In a 1-minute camera shot to where they come by that were in view, he made up 7 seconds within a minute.
That's pretty impressive.
And that's slinky that the lap riders offer, basically. So it's not over yet. Bryson's definitely riding fantastic up front. And obviously, we haven't had a good camera shot on Hunter Hart or McClure. I assume that they're probably still the 3 and 4 rides.
Yeah.
And how about John Glotto holding into that 5th place position? Like you said, it's kind of, we almost expected it, but we haven't seen it. But now that he's there, I'm not shocked.
Right. No, I know exactly what you mean. Yeah. That statement sounds kind of odd, but at the same time, yeah, exactly. You know, and I hate to put that much pressure on somebody because, you know, oftentimes that's hard on a person to have that much expectations out from people like that. But at the same time, with what we saw out of him coming from the youth ranks to the amateur ranks to the Pro-Am and into the XC1 Pro class, I mean, it was written in stone, it seemed almost.
Yep, and that's a downfall of being a rider that is so dominant. I know I had my struggles myself. You get put up on a pedestal, and then when you don't perform, people go, I wonder, well, maybe he's not all that. That's not the case with any of these guys. Obviously, Hunter Hart's had some great rides his freshman and sophomore year. John Galata Jr., Wesley Wolf when he was coming up. I'm seeing some names here. And Feehan's obviously had his struggles, but good to see him in the top 10.
Man, oh, that caught traction.
Look at the mud fleas. Is that camo, or do you think that used to be a color?
I think that's just the regular jacket and the regular pair of blue jeans. You know, dude, they wear this as a badge of honor. Absolutely. It really is. I seen guys coming out of that 10 o'clock race. They had mud just caked on their face, under their eye. And, you know, under normal circumstances, people would kind of like wipe their eyes, wipe their face to try to get it off. Not those guys. Dude, they were walking out, chest puffed, arms out. You're like, yeah, look at me. I'm muddy. I've been out helping the riders. And that's the beauty of these GNCC mud fleas.
All right, so we watched Bryson Neal get all cattywampus coming out of there. He didn't want to go through those deep ruts. Wow. Cole Richardson, guys. 18 seconds.
He's closing
18
up.
seconds.
He is closing up.
And no traffic between the two of them.
What did we have him at? Where did you have him at?
I had him at 27 coming into the pit, 23 coming out of the pit, 17 now.
Wow.
18. Sorry.
Wow. That is really starting to tighten up quite a bit, my friends. And this, like you said, is not over, Walker Fowler.
No, it's not over. And I think there is some lap traffic ahead of them. That rider that had just got stuck and pushed out, and about 3 or 4 more. So there's obviously more ahead. But I think I'm going to say that right now Richardson has had some clean air, and I think he's really trying to make it count. Obviously, he knows he's got less than half the race at this point, half of this lap to get the job done. And good to see him riding, not giving up, and knowing how important this next 6 miles is going to be.
13 minutes, actually less than 13 minutes is what we're looking at when we should expect to see Bryson Neal or maybe Cole Richardson heading into the finish line chicanes to take the checkers and the win here at this Ironman GNCC. This year, the penultimate round. Normally it's the finale, but this year it's our next to the last round of racing. So still seems to have a lot of fever and a lot of excitement in the air here for sure.
Yeah, this is the biggest race that we have. A snowshoe probably gets the credit as one of the gnarliest and maybe one of the more fun ones for the race fans, but as far as an overall experience, and you're seeing why, we're getting the mud fleas in on it. We're playing in a creek when it's 45 degrees outside. I have 2 jackets on and I'm still cold. And if you ask any one of these folks, any of the riders, when they're done, unless maybe they didn't make it up Ironman Hill, they'll tell you that they had the time of their life. So that's what's so cool about this track. I hate that I'm not out there myself, but this is a track for myself that I wanted to be 100% healthy so I could enjoy it. Because,
well, you have to be, really.
Yeah.
I mean, especially like you said, with the competition that's out there right now, this particular course, I mean, even though you think Indiana, soft, a little few hills, this is one of the more challenging racetracks, I think, on the course, honestly.
I believe that was just Jason Flaviano. I could be wrong, but I do believe that's who that rider is. Got a little sideways coming up and stuck a rock coming out of the creek there straight to his face, all covered in mud. So
wow.
And now you're seeing more riders struggle. These guys are tired, Rodney. Obviously, full-time jobs. This is their weekend fun.
I think the same thing goes for the mud fleas, too. I think they're starting to get tired, too.
Yeah. These guys are getting wore out.
They're like, go over here, man. Don't even try it over there.
You know, but they should have, I believe, one more creek crossing. I know there's a bridge crossing over here on the backside of the motocross track. But here comes Hunter Hart on camera right now. Jared McClure, the sneaky snake, is on his grab bar, guys.
Wow. That's how quickly. That's
Hunter Hart with a mistake, not the yell, sorry.
No.
He's on that same rock that I believe Jason Flaviano was, and he's now against a tree, losing time, and the sneaky snake slithers his way to third place.
What a heartbreaker for Hunter, man. I really thought we were going to see him up on the podium here today. He's ridden such an exceptional race today.
Gutted for him for sure, and that would have gave us a 3-way Yamaha podium, but hey, it's not over. But obviously, like, I should be out there racing with these guys. A third one. That is a gnarly little rock.
Yeah.
where was I going with that? Oh, the sneaky snake. I'm witnessing it unfold 2 hours before my eyes. Why he is the sneaky snake. He just slid his way into a third-place position. And my heart is racing. This is exciting. No wonder you guys enjoy this.
No doubt. You see why I've been doing this for 26 years now.
Exactly. Kind of made me forget about my headache.
Oh, awesome. I forgot I even had a head, man.
Yeah. I mean. John Glaude, I'm not sure if we would have missed that rider in that melee.
We would have had to have, I believe. Glaude, well, no, he was a minute back behind, so we may still get to catch him.
I'm going to say that Hunter Hart probably lost 20 or so seconds.
Oh, easy.
20. So I'm going to say that maybe we just missed Glaude, but I'm going to say that Glaude did not get around him. And that is the same line that Bryson Neal kind of struggled with, but he was able to kind of wheelie out of it.
Yeah.
Or else we could have seen the lead really tighten up right there. So that little section, I couldn't even see that guy. He blended in. This is fantastic.
But please, that's why, all you see is their eyes on those hills, man.
I think someone should radio down and tell them they're going to do a 6th lap. I want to see this happen again.
Hey, go ahead and let the guys at the finish line know. Walker wants to see another lap. He's a 6-time champion. He's making the call today.
Anybody, it's like a poker run. $20, you can go up Ironman Hill. I think we should start doing that.
I would like to give it a try.
The breast cancer awareness. We can raise some money.
We could set lights up down there. That could be a new event.
I like it, Rodney.
I do too.
Let's take it to the higher ups.
And here's what we do: we make it a time trial too. So for everybody that does make it up, whoever makes it up fastest maybe wins.
Yep, absolutely. So
don't they call that hill climb or something like that?
Huh? I don't know. I think we just invented a new sport. On camera just now was Chris Borich. I'm going to say that his transponder is not working. He is not on the top 10 on the TV side of the screen. Behind him was Josh Merritt. I'm going to assume that maybe that was Glaude. Could have been wrong. This guy's.
I'm going to check on that whole scenario.
But, that was definitely a Phoenix Honor ride.
Has Chris Borich listed as only 3 laps complete, and he is on lap number 5 now. So, there's a doggone good possibility that he is right where he has been, even though he's not being shown on timing and scoring right now.
Yep, I'm going to say that rider is having a transponder error, but so that I wonder where Borich actually is with Glaude. If that was Glaude on screen, I'll have to pay a little bit more attention instead of yelling into the microphone and getting all excited about Mudfreeze falling into the water.
It's hard not to get sucked into it, man. I mean, it really is. Sometimes I'll sit here and I'll just be watching the TV and just forget what I'm doing and not even talk, and I'll just sit and listen to everybody else talk, especially on Sunday when Johnny's here. I love it because I get to watch the race and listen to his commentary.
And Johnny's just over there jabbering away. He's so good at it.
Oh, he is.
I obviously have a lot of work to do, but I really do appreciate you having me in the booth. And it's weird to watch a race. I'm not the greatest spectator, but this is definitely the way to watch it. We're getting to see everything happen right with the viewers at home. And
RacerTV's come a long way. I want to take this opportunity. Dan Reinhardt, Adam Gordon, Nick Vosberg, Jordan McFadden, Jeremy Saulers, Griff Cotter, Leah, and I mean, there's so many. I'm not getting them all, but Dylan and the other Nicks and everybody that's involved in this. I'm telling you, we've got such an amazing team.
Yep.
We have seen RacerTV over the course of the last 12 months alone advance so far, and I watched the race on the way home last Sunday because I had to leave because I wasn't feeling well, and due to the current situation and circumstances, Cooler Head said it's best that you go home, so I went home. And anyway, I watched and listened to the race all the way, and man, what RacerTV is doing right now, phenomenal, no doubt about it.
Job for sure. Speaking of phenomenal job, I'm assuming that I missed Brandon Owens. Not 100% sure, but I do know that Austin Abney did go by, and I don't see any XC2 riders behind him.
26-second gap is what we were looking at between Owens and Abney last time. So he may have gone through, he may have not gone through. I guess we'll find out more about that as time wears on right now. 1 hour and 53, working on 54 minutes into this race.
This one's just about
done. About done. Get your forks out, folks. It is just about done. GNCC Live continues after this.
For family values and a homegrown work ethic, Cometic Gaskets seals your machine so you can focus on the finish line. Cometic Gaskets are the competitive standard for racers who demand the very best. Cometic Gaskets are constructed from superior materials designed to perform in the most demanding environment, whether it's championships on the line or a day in the dirt with friends. Professionals and enthusiasts depend on Cometic. Cometic Gaskets, sealing championships since 1989.
It's hard to put our adventures on hold, but now is the perfect time to prepare for their return. AMSOIL has your back with fast, free shipping, and ordering has never been easier. Just look up your vehicle, select your product, add an oil change to your cart, and check out. Spend $50 on AMSOIL products and shipping is on us. Order now at AMSOIL.com.
And welcome back to GNCC Live from Crawfordsville, Indiana, and the 25th running of the, or I should say the 26th running, celebrating 25 years of the Ironman GNCC. As we take a look at last year's big race here in the muddy conditions of the Ironman GNCC. Walker, look at that. You got off to a pretty good start out there, it looked like.
That was the best part of my day right there.
Tell us a little bit about this one from your perspective, because I know you riders, man, you guys, you lived it. You know what this race was really all about.
Yep, I'm actually wearing a trash bag. I know it sounds ridiculous, but that was better than losing something important out there. Just trying to keep some water off. All the riders had the 23-inch front setup, 22-inch rear setup on the tires. You had to. The conditions were absolutely horrible. Nothing like this year. It's beautiful this year, Rodney. The rain, it fell. It fell. No goggles. No matter what brand you had, I feel like I run Scott Goggles, the best company there is, and you had them on for 2 miles. Just look at this.
Yeah,
it's horrible.
And this was, I mean,
oh my gosh.
Weren't you leading, I mean, into the last lap? We're going to the last lap, and that's when everything got kind of strange, because you had an issue. Hunter Hart gets by you. He thinks he got second, and he ended up winning.
He ends up winning, yeah. And in his rookie year, I won Ironman my rookie season. That was my first rookie XC1 win, and he ends up winning the exact same one. Had no idea that he did it. Kind of wild, for sure.
Yeah.
We're obviously seeing Chris Borch on his familiar Suzuki from over the years. Obviously now on, look at him. I got second, right? Are you kidding me? Yeah, fantastic.
I love that.
His mom, Amy.
Look at the face.
Really pumped for him. That was a big moment in that rider's career, for sure. So, so much happier that, other than maybe being a little chilly, and it seems to be warming up, Rodney.
Yeah.
What a great,
I think we might have hit close to 60 so far.
What a great day today. I just love this reaction.
I know. I got second. No. And then the look on his face, that is phenomenal. I mean, and that cheesy smile he's got.
Absolutely.
Hey, keep cheesing, baby. That's all I got to say to you, man. I can't wait to see him up there a whole lot more in the future.
Right,
and I expect we'll see it.
We should be seeing a fantastic battle up front. This is coming in towards the finish line.
Right.
We had our commercial break. We're on a 5-lap race, but based on time, we're actually going to be really good on our time.
Right. Yeah, we're due in about a minute, and actually we might be less than 2 hours of racing with 5 laps in this particular event. And Walker, I mean, by your calculations, the way we were watching that time chip away, it wouldn't be a surprise to see either a lead change or a nose-to-tail battle going on.
Absolutely, Rodney. I would not be surprised if it's nose-to-tail, and I can't tell who these riders are. They seem to be riding pretty good, but I don't think that
wasn't pro level.
But there is the number 2.
Yep.
Number 1 on today's track, Bryson Neal, no questions. Not seeing Cole Richardson behind him. I believe, barring a catastrophe of some kind, I believe that number 2 ride is going to win today's race.
How many wins will this be for
That'll
him?
be his third win this season.
I thought so. Well, here he comes, folks. Put your hands together and give him some love as he makes his way into the final and closing moments of this 2020 Ironman GNCC, and looking for his third win of the 2020 season as well. Bryson Neal right now inching his way towards another amazing win and another step towards greatness in GNCC racing as he takes the checkers and the 26th running of the Yamaha Racing Ironman GNCC.
Great finish for that rider, of course. Would love seeing a Yamaha get the win, and it looks like Cole Richardson should be coming in for second right here on the number 4. Let's double check, but I'm 99% sure that is him. Yes, it is. So 2 Yamahas up front, Rodney. Doesn't get much better than that. Those guys put on an absolute great show today. A little bit of a seesaw. They never were really nose to tail except on the start there. But here in the booth and on the stopwatch, it sure was an exciting race.
It was. 17.7 seconds is the official deficit between first and second. 1 hour, 59 minutes, and 10 seconds is what it took Bryson Neal to complete those 5 laps in.
That's pretty impressive, Rodney. 5-lap race just under the 2-hour barrier. So they must have just been lighting them up out there.
I just got to tip my hat to Jared Bolton, Ryan Eccles, and of course trail boss Jeff Russell. They have been able to lay out tracks that have put us almost dead on the hour where we need to be when the checker flag comes out in the last couple rounds.
No question about that. Those guys have been doing a great job, and I heard from multiple riders that there actually were areas of the track that were brand new today. This could be the 26th running of this facility, but there were still brand new sections of this racetrack. So hats off to those guys. Can't wait to get some interviews down there with these guys, see what they say about the track, see what they say about the races. We should be nearing the completion for our 3rd place spot, which should have changed. It should be the number 5?
Yeah.
5, yes, of Jared McClure on that Honda.
Yeah, we saw the issues that Hunter Hart had down there coming out of that creek, getting caught in the on the same rock that Jason Flaviano got caught. Yeah. I love saying Jason's name, Flaviano. That's such a cool name.
Great last name.
So anyway, so we're waiting. Bated breath. Will it be McClure? Will John Galata somehow or another bridge a 1 and 6 second gap on McClure to take that 3rd place position? Now, I'm not going to count that out. Lap traffic, that rock out there, the creek crossings, and I'm sure those are, I mean, we're only seeing small sections of the racetrack. I'm sure there's more of that out there someplace.
I'm sure there's a lot more than that, Rodney. This track offers up a lot of very special things. Like you said, the hill climbs, there's a lot of racetrack that the PM quads do just for themselves. Lots of creek crossings, lots of mud being pulled up, water being pulled up and creating those sandy sections on the creek banks. Anybody in yet?
No, still haven't seen. It's been at least a couple of minutes, so we should be seeing our 3rd place rider come in any time now, I would think, as we wait and wait and wait. It seems like, anyway, it seems like a long wait, although it may not be as long as what we expect. But
those top 2 riders really put it on them today. Hats off to those guys. Those are the guys that I've been battling with, and for those 2 riders to be able to pull that gap and to manage that gap. Obviously only 17 seconds separating the 2 of them, but what, 2.5 minutes or so?
Yeah.
Over the rest of the competition.
Yeah.
It appears that is going to be Jared McClure.
Is he coming?
So let me see the fenders here. That's definitely a Honda, and it appears that Hunter Hart is right on him.
Oh, what a heartbreaker.
Just not close enough.
All
So
right.
it is going to be Jared McClure currently in that number 3 spot. Let's see how these last 2 corners go, Rodney.
All righty, the Cobra strikes, a.k.a. the Sneaky Snake, makes it happen as he makes his way into a 3rd place position. Hunter Hart, a valiant ride today, will cross the line in a 4th place position. 3 minutes, 27 seconds behind Richardson is McClure as he checks in on the number 5 machine, losing an entire minute on that lap of racing. 1.8 seconds behind him is Hunter Hart, and you know that has to be a heartbreaker for Hart.
Yeah, absolutely, Rodney. And we saw it on camera, so now I hope I just hate that I know how that feels, and I'm gutted for that rider, but at the same time, this is just another lesson on the last lap when you're really pushing it and you're on that podium position, that you gotta be able to minimize mistakes, because Jared McClure is a seasoned veteran, and once he gets in front of you, that is a rider that is hard to get back around, Rodney. He made up call it 10 or 15 seconds after he was able to get moving again. But in this class, you can't give up a second.
No, you can't. You cannot at all. I mean, a breath will will certainly cost you a lot. There's no doubt about that.
Walking by the booth here is our Austin Abney fathead.
Yeah, there it is. Is there only one of those? I mean, it's muddy now. He looks like a mud flea. Oh, you got to love the Indiana race fans. There's no doubt about it. So there we go. Neal, Richardson, McClure, Hunter Hart in the number 4 spot. Still waiting on the 5th place position. Will Glotta be able to hang on to that? Did Merritt get around him to overtake that 5th place position? And
where is Chris Borch's transponder?
And where is Chris Borch?
He is on the racetrack, no question. You might be missing his name on the screen, but he is racing. He is somewhere between that 5 to 7 range. I believe it was Glotta or Merritt that was behind him, so I'm going to put him in that 6th place spot. But again, he's a crafty guy. He's been at this for, oh gosh, a couple seasons less than Johnny, but 20-some seasons in the XC1 Pro class, I believe, are right at 20 years. And
has it been? You know, I was looking at. I know it's been at least 15, 16, or 17.
You're right. I don't know if it was 2001 or 2 that might have been his rookie pro year. So I guess he's nearing 20 years.
He is. Wow. Who would have thought that, huh?
We'll have to ask him. Actually, that'd be.
Think he's got any more wins in him?
I bet he does. I actually bet he does.
You know, I think this year has been a real. I don't think that we're seeing out of Chris Borch what he's still capable of this year. There's a lot of elements into this picture, into this program that we're talking about with Chris. He had some changes that he had to make coming into it, making the bike switch from the Suzuki to the Honda, new team, a lot of different elements into this one. Even though he's ridden the Honda in the past, he had a lot of changes to overcome. But you know, one thing you can point out, there's been consistency in Chris Borch's program all season long. I mean, you can count on him being a top 5, if not at least a top 5 or better rider, at least close to a top 5 in the 6 or 7.
Incident coming into the finish line. It was definitely 2 pro riders. I believe Wesley Wolf is one of them.
John Glotta Jr. in for 5th place. Chris Borch is in for 6th place.
And then I'm going to say that is Josh Merritt and Wesley Wolf tangling up in the 2nd to last corner, Rodney.
Wesley Wolf will get the 8th place. Actually, 7th place will go to Josh Merritt. Yeah. Wesley Wolf will take the 8th place position, 1.3 seconds back behind the number 11 machine.
Interesting. I don't think you see it very often that the pro class comes together two corners before the finish line, almost like the start.
I know.
Obviously, those 2 riders were going for it. I think this is a replay. I'm going to go with replay.
No, that's live. That's a live one. They're just checking out some of the things going on the racetrack right there. And this is live, too. This is Bryson Neal, who is, found himself to the top of the box for a 3rd time here in the 2020 season. And, of course, I know that's also his 4th win of his career, if I'm not mistaken.
4th or 5th, right?
Yeah, I'm going to have to go back and do it. Might be win number 5. He can clarify that for us coming up. I know he got wins at it might be number 5 now that I think about it, because I know he got the wins at Burr Oaks and John Penton, and he'd gotten the win at John Penton last year before. Hunter.
No, this is definitely a replay.
Yeah, that's a replay right there. Hunter Hart was stuck a long time ago. I think he's playing with us now. So let's head on down. Mikey Waynes, whenever you're ready, buddy, you've got the podium, literally. So I don't guess he's ready. Did you see Mikey Waynes' mullet by any chance?
I actually didn't. I forgot to look. Did he just have it flown there in the breeze? Or
yeah, he's got
under his hat?
He might have had it. He was flowing in the breeze, but man, he's got a cool mullet. There's no doubt about it. And they cut Big John's off last night.
I did see that. Ken Hill had the honors.
Yeah, with a pocket knife. Cost him $1,000, not Ken in particular, but cost $1,000 to get her done. And talking about getting her done, this guy right here got her done today. Mikey Waynes, what's going on down at that podium?
Hey, thanks, Rodney. Down here at the podium with your winner here today, Bryson Neal, man. Literally, my goodness, start to finish in this one, it was the Bryson Neal show.
Oh, man. Hello? Hello, there we go. Man, I tell you what, today it turned out to be a heck of a day. You know, yesterday we was looking at the weather and we was like, man, it's going to be a mutter as long as it's not like last year. But you know what? The track was absolutely perfect. The sun came out, and we couldn't ask for a better Ironman day, better Ironman fans. Everyone was incredible today. So many people out there pointing lines and cheering me on, and it was just I appreciate it so much, and thank you guys.
Well, man, talk to us about this 2020 season. Obviously, Walker Fowler wrapping up the championship, but boy, you have done stellar. I mean, you have certainly made a case for 2021.
Yeah, you know, a lot of shoulda, woulda, couldas. You know, this should be technically, I guess, 4 in a row, but we was winning the other 2 we broke down on. But you know what? We're just happy to be able to get up here and get some wins. This is the first time in a whole season I've got 3 wins or multiple wins, and first time I got back-to-back hole shots. My first hole shot of my pro career was last weekend, and then I got another one today. You know, things are working good for us. I got a really good crew around me, and I'm just super fortunate just to be able to keep riding like I am. And man, 2021, we're just going to try to take it to the winter and keep on it, and try to come out next year with the same fire.
There you go. Congratulations. Make some noise. First place finisher here today, Bryson Neal. We'll send it back to you guys in the booth.
I swear I thought I hit that switch. Thank you, Mikey. Congratulations again to Bryson Neal on another big win. And I have to wonder, man, I mean, wins are wins, I'm sure, and they're all special, but what are the more special wins? Races like this here at the Ironman, races in your hometowns and things like that?
I would imagine for that rider that that John Penton and the Burr Oak were probably pretty special this year for Bryson Neal. Obviously, every win that you get is very special, Rodney, so I'm sure he's just pumped, especially after being so close at the Mountaineer GNCC and then this last GNCC winning it and having a failure. I'm sure this rider is very excited to get that win today.
Well, I'm sure, too, and well-deserved, no doubt about it. Cole Richardson, also a well-deserving rider. He rode his tail off today, getting himself into the second-place position. It looked like at times that he might be able to get it done on that last lap with, I'm sure, lap traffic working in his favor and probably working against him at the same time in certain circumstances and situations out there. But basically cut the gap, the lead in half from, I know we'd seen 31 seconds at one point down to 17 seconds. There, that really made a huge difference, and it shows what kind of speed I think that Cole Richardson brings.
Oh, 100%. He's definitely a fast kid, and I think we're going to hear from him down there. Cole Richardson had a great ride today, buddy. Take us through your second place.
Thanks, guys. Down here with Cole Richardson. Cole, man, a second place finish here today. I could tell by the body language in you post-race you wanted the win here, man. So talk to us about a podium, but nonetheless a little frustrated.
Yeah, you know, I can't complain with a second. You know, last few years here, I don't think I podiumed, you know, since 2015 when I moved to XC1 for my last race. So, you know, I'm definitely pumped to be on the podium. We've had some bad luck here, and, you know, me and Bryson are real close in points, and the last thing I wanted was for him to get the start and me in the back, and, you know, that's what happened. So, you know, we tried to run him down, tried to make some quick work the first lap and make up some time, but, you know, the track was just so fast. You know, one little mistake would cost you a lot of time, but it was really hard to make it up. So, you know, right after I pitted there on the second lap, I don't know what happened to the bike. We had some little mishap where it started to sputter and kind of shut off on me out in the field. And, you know, we just started to close the gap a little more at that point and pretty much lost it all again and tried to close it back up. And pretty much seemed like we were 15 to 20 seconds the entire time. And I'm sure Bryson probably said it. I don't think we could have rode the track any faster.
Well, that summarizes it right there, Cole. Well, man, congratulations on the podium finish. It did sound like today needed to be darn near perfect, but nonetheless, fantastic race for you. What are we going to see out of Cole Richardson? We got one more round left, but moving into 2020, what's the mindset?
For 2021?
2021, yes, thank you. This year's so awful, I just want it done with.
I mean, as of now, you know, next year's still up in the air, as most of us racers, you know, we're working on our program, but nothing's set in stone. You know, let's hope we can get the funding there and, you know, the backing to be able to stick it out another year, and we'll see what happens.
There you go. You guys make some noise. Second place finisher here today, Cole Richardson.
Coltrane. Chugga, chugga, choo, choo, my man. I'll tell you what, that guy has got a lot of great things in the future for him. And the sport, just the future of this sport, Walker, with you, with Bryson, with Cole, with Hunter Hart coming up through, Jared McClure and his craziness, John Galata, of course, Chris Borch still in the mix. Even though Adam McGill wasn't in it today, still a fiery player in the GNCC world as well.
Absolutely, Rodney. Like I said earlier, the depth pool of our class this year, and honestly, every single season, I'm happy that a lot of guys are continuing to stick it out, not retire maybe a little early or anything wild, and our class just gets deeper and deeper. And that's awesome. You know, our numbers actually are coming around. There were 14, I believe, that started this race. So 15 might have been
and
out
what's
there.
amazing, I remember if you watch the Yamaha This Week in Yamaha History, there was, I think, 23, 24, closer to 25 riders on the pro row. That's about 10 more pro riders than what we're used to about 15 years ago. I don't know what's changed in the time, but I know that our XC2 class is huge these days.
Yep, and I know I think sometimes there's not a whole lot of incentive to move up, but I think with some rule changes and with some contingency changes that we are actually starting to not force guys up. We don't want to force anybody that's not ready, but I think you're starting to maybe get a little bit more incentive and get some opportunities that maybe you wouldn't get in some of the lower classes by stepping up. And by all means, you're more than welcome. You know, I think our pro class is all pretty good about the new riders, and we love it. We would love to have more guys up front. And
so you say in the old school initiations where they used to bounce you around and see how tough you were, don't play into the favorite?
No, we just do that to everybody. It's not initiation. That's just every race, Rodney.
That's just the way it works.
Yeah.
They just think they're being initiated.
Oh, yeah. No, that's... I can't help but chuckle.
That's funny, though. And that, I mean, but that's the aggressiveness of the pro class. I mean, they think they're getting an initiation, and all they're doing is getting into the race.
Yep, you're getting into the race. Riders just become another obstacle. Nothing, very, very seldom is it anything dirty. It's definitely just two lines meeting and who's going to let off the throttle if someone lets off the throttle. So
I'll tell you, somebody that didn't let off the throttle today, Jared McClure, man.
Jared McClure definitely taking not necessarily advantage of a mistake by Hunter Hart, because he actually had dropped off of Hunter Hart, but he clicked another gear, Rodney. He got to the back of Hunter Hart and was in a race position to take that third place and run with it.
Yep, and that's exactly what he did, all the way to the checkers. Just 1.8 seconds ahead of Hunter Hart at the finish line itself, but it doesn't matter on the time gaps, whether it's a minute or whether it's a second. A position's a position. They still pays the same points.
Still pays the same points. And
but I'm sure it makes you feel better if you're only a second behind the fellow.
I would imagine that Jared McClure feels better than Hunter Hart right now. I know that one rider's excited, maybe. I know Jared's obviously pretty tough on himself, but I think considering maybe, I can't remember the last time he's been on the podium, actually.
It's been a few races, that's for sure. Hunter Hart there, you know, and not taking anything away from his ride at a fourth place position, he's got to be still stoked about fourth place today.
Sure, he's very stoked, but I know Hunter and him riding around in a podium position most of the race to get within 5 miles of the finish line and see that one slip away. I know that he's hungry for more, and I think we're going to see a really strong ride from Hunter Hart coming into the final round.
Okay, waiting on Austin Abney. I don't know if McClure, is he not going to make it down to the podium? I know that... Okay, so we're waiting on Austin Abney to make his way down for XC2 also, so we'll kind of hang here for just a few moments. Man, I tell you, what a great facility we've got here in Indiana.
So I guess we haven't really talked about it. I guess it was Brandon Owens taking that XC2 win, Austin Abney in the second, and I believe Drew Landers taking that number 3 spot.
And that should put Austin in pretty good driver's position as far as that championship is concerned. As we look down, well, maybe not as good as what he had hoped, because Landers, like I said, had pulled to within third place position. That was a pretty good push for him from 5th up to 3rd there in the last couple of laps.
Yeah, absolutely, Rodney. And Brandon Owens, though, in that first place
he's
position,
coming after you, Walker.
He's coming after everybody. He's coming after those XC1 ranks. I believe he'll probably run XC2 again next season. I don't talk to him, so that's on me. I don't know if I'm sure someone will have to fill me in on what his plans are, but I know he's pretty young yet. I wouldn't be surprised if Brandon Owens does stick around in that XC2 class. I do believe, which it's not the last race, Rodney. We still have another round of action to go, but I do believe the internets have kind of let out that Austin Abney, if he does race again, would be going to that XC1 line on an interview that I heard with Mikey Waynes for a local station here in Crawfordsville. And having talked to Drew Landers, and I believe the way the points have worked out the last couple of years, I think he is forced to run the XC1 class. So we might be seeing our two top XC2 challengers from the 2020 season in that pro class next year.
That's kind of exciting, in all honesty.
I am thrilled.
So you're kicking Drew off your team now?
No, absolutely not. But I'm just excited. Some new riders, new blood, and get that, some.
Well, looks like they're not going to make it over, guys. So we're getting the wrap it on up scenario here. Right. So, but congratulations to Austin Abney, one step closer, if not securing that national championship in the X. That's what I'm wondering, because they said waiting on Austin. Maybe it is for a championship celebration. We'll tally the points and find out. But I'll tell you, it's been a great day here in Indiana, Montgomery County. The Pink Race, raising money for breast cancer awareness. The Bottleneck Live last night, several $1,000s, I think, donated to the Faith Alliance Fund here in Montgomery County, which helps out local residents. So thanks to Mikey and Bottleneck Live. Thanks to everybody participating in our Pink Race and all the fundraisers that continues here tonight. We got a lot of great things going on here tonight, and a big race coming up tomorrow as well. That's going to wrap things up for me, Rodney Tomlin. Walker Fowler, thank you very much for sitting in the booth today, and also Mikey Waynes, thank you so much for all your help as well. For all of us here at RacerTV, be sure and join us back here again tomorrow. We'll go live about 1 o'clock. On behalf of everyone, I'm Rodney Tomlin. Have a great day, everybody.